Yay, we're finally live.
All right, Lewis, how do you want to structure it real quick? Do we want to help?
Well,
We're
we're
live.
live.
Huh?
We're live. It's fine. We're live.
Okay.
We're live. It's fine. What's up, everybody? It is the Get Back. It is Lewis. It is Daniel. It is Jess. All back together
Hi.
on a nice Sunday night. Snowy Sunday night as well.
No.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't see no snow on the ground, but it says it's snowing, so I believe it. Whatever the weatherman
But
says.
you're not
is right.
outside.
I walked through it.
I looked outside.
I survived. Look out there again.
It wasn't snowing
Put
when I
your
looked
hand
10
out the
minutes
window.
ago. Wasn't snowing. There was no snow. I ain't see shit. I ain't see nothing, chat. Chat, I ain't see nothing. Okay, but I think the weatherman's right, because whatever the weatherman says, it's correct.
Snow for the next hour. Look again.
I didn't see.
Look
Oh,
again.
you know what? I'll go look again. Watch when I come back. I'm gonna take a picture.
I got you.
Watch when I come back. Watch when
I
I
got
come
you.
back. All right.
I got you.
Motherfuckers, I'm sending
I
in the
got you.
chat too.
Go
Watch
ahead.
me be right. Watch me be right, yo.
Go ahead.
This shit, yo.
Go ahead. Yeah. So here we go. We're the Get Back. I don't know what we're doing today. I think I know what we're doing today, but it's a chill Sunday. It's snowing in New York. It's 33 degrees.
I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted too. We've had a long day.
Yes. Daniel was recruited. I recruited Daniel to do laborious work that men are purposely made for.
There ain't shit out there, man. I ain't see shit.
And he helped me move stuff.
I ain't see,
Well, maybe it stopped snowing.
I ain't see nothing. Ain't nothing.
I can't see nothing out my
I-
window.
It's
but,
snowing
I
very
knew it-
mightily, a little bit. No, that's not real.
Shut up.
It's not real snow.
You interrupted my story.
Yo,
I was
this is
telling
the first time
people
we just got back.
And
yo.
Daniel helped me do things today. Guys, I have a storage unit. I'm cleaning it out. And Daniel was the heavy work, the heavy lifting.
Yo.
I'm not done.
Yo, Jess, you should have hit me with that shit. I would have shut up so fast if you would have hit me with that. I did that. I'm not fucking done.
Well, now I am done. So I just wanted to tell people
All
when
right,
I'm tired.
Lewis, what are we doing today?
All right, so on the docket for today, we have our end of season quarterback rankings for the NFL. The NFL season is wrapped up. Seahawks win the Super Bowl. And we do the start of the season QB rankings mid-season. Now we are at the conclusion of 2025-2026 season. So we will talk about those QB rankings today. And also, we will discuss NBA having a tanking problem. I feel like I hear this talk every 2 years from the NBA about tanking. But we're going to get into that later. But first, on the docket, our quarterback rankings. All right.
Yes, sir.
So Daniel, I could start, or you could start. I have no problem doing any of that. So let me sign in real quick here.
Do you have yours up? 'Cause I have mine up.
I have mine up too. So just in case if it's not good on your end, or if it's lagging and things like that, connection's not too good, then you could just send it to me and I'll put it on stream and I'll share it and I'll do all those things.
Okay.
All right. But I'm here with your chat.
You want me to start?
Yep. Go ahead. So these are our end of season QB rankings. And Jess, you will be the judge, as you always are. You are the voice of reason today and the voice of reason every day.
Today's not a good day for me to judge, but I'll try my best.
Yo.
Now, I
Sam,
do
Sam
want to
Darnold.
know-
Sam
Saying,
Darnold called me on
I'm
a bad
fighting
weekend.
suit right now.
Called me on the bad weekend.
Listen. I do want this to be said. I have not been picked at all. Whenever we do QB rankings, I'm always the one who doesn't get it. So we're gonna try to change that today. All right, so Lewis, how we're doing the first 8, first 16? How we doing this?
First 8. Let's go.
First 8. All right. So I have big heads. That's how we're displaying it today. So 32. Whoever the Jets had a quarterback. Straightforward. Every Jet quarterback was terrible. So as a collective, they are the worst quarterback in the league. Not gonna expand
Remember
on
when I
that.
forgot who was our quarterback? I was like, oh, gosh.
Exactly. Remember Brady Cook? Fun. 31. Geno Smith. Brother was terrible. You terrible. At 30, Jacoby Brissett. He was decent. I'm not gonna lie,
Really?
but
You couldn't put
I,
this in
I,
a
I
PowerPoint. You put it in a Word doc.
listen. I'm tired.
It's-
So this is Jacoby Brissett 30 had a decent year. It just didn't play enough for me, and I just couldn't put him above all the other quarterbacks on the list. 29, Michael Penix Jr. Brother was terrible, got hurt. Atlanta was terrible because of it. Kirk Cousins was no better. I really don't have much to add. Michael Penix was bad. 28, JJ McCarthy had an okay rookie year. Had like one or two decent games where it was like, okay, there's something here, but the rest of the time, really wasn't all that. I didn't think he was that good. I thought he looked okay. Hopefully, he can get better. I think quarterbacks above him were better. 27, Tua, brother was terrible. He maybe had a couple of good games here and there. Apart from that, I really thought he didn't play at all. He didn't elevate the team. He got benched. And he may never play a snap in the NFL ever again. Who knows? 26, Jane Daniels. He was injured. It's hard to judge him. When he did play, I didn't think he was that elite like he was last year. And again, he was mainly injured for a majority of the year. So it was hard to kind of really base anything off of that. But I think there's potential to grow. I think next year, if he's healthy, he could kind of get back to that higher status. But I think I think quarterbacks who got hurt this year deserve a lower rank than the quarterbacks who didn't. So I put a lot of stock into that as well. 25, Shador Sanders. This is the timing, right? He had a couple. He had maybe one good game when he did start. I feel like there's room for improvement. I don't think he was the worst. He wasn't good, but I don't think he was the worst. I think there's our favorite word on the show, potential, with Shador Sanders. So I think there's something here that is moldable, but still I think it could go up or down depending on where he develops. And then 24, Tyler Schlow. Surprised everybody. Actually turned into somewhat of a decent quarterback to some degree. I think the Saints have maybe something here. I'm not willing to put a stamp on that yet, but I think the numbers and the eye test and the impact that he had when he quarterbacked the Saints was really good. His throws looked okay. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. And I think overall he had a pretty good year. I think 24 is a fair spot for him. And again, like Shador, I think he has a lot of potential and can go up or down depending on how next year goes. But I think it surprised a lot of people where he ended up. But I think the Saints kind of maybe hit something here to some degree with Tyler Schlow. So I think that is kind of fair. But that is my 32 to 24.
Period. Woo! Daniel cooked. He fucking cooked, chat. Let me close that up. And here we go. Let me pull up mine real quick. Skis. Is it YouTube? I think it's YouTube. This one. Bam. There we go. All right,
Yes.
now let me
Say
share
hi
it
to
on screen.
Thomas.
Share it on screen. Any comment? I don't really have any comments right now for that specific list, but I like it. I like it. There we go. All right, here is my 32 to 25, my first state. Oh, hey, what's up, Beanish? And Beanish in the chat, throwing up some hearts. Put some hundreds in the chat. There we go. Okay, let me start off. 32. Jets starting quarterback. Insert fart. Yeah. That's all I have to say. Geno Smith. And also with these numbers on the side of the player, that indicates how much they moved up or down depending on the midseason rankings that I had them at. So -1, obviously they went backwards. +2 or plus whatever, they went forward. They went up into the more top, whatever. I can't speak. Geno Smith at 31. He's ass. Thank you. 30, Tua Tagovailoa. He's awful. Yeah, this is it. This is the awful side of the QB rankings right now. Cam Ward, 29. Rookie, has potential, room to grow. Team wasn't great. Offensive weapons weren't really that good, but he showed some flashes, made some cool throws. So maybe he could be something later down the line, which I expect him to be. He has good potential. Love me some potential, right? And at 28, I have Michael Penix, injured when he did play, didn't really elevate his guys around him. He's okay-ish, injury prone though. Don't really know his long-term future as a starting quarterback. He's gonna have to get rid of that injury bug, but not a good year at all. J.J. McCarthy, he stayed the same, and the S means stayed the same, or the 0 means that they just got on the list. J.J. McCarthy at 27, he was very meh pretty much the whole season. Number 9, throwing interceptions, can't make Justin Jefferson look good, even though he's Justin Jefferson. He was abysmal this year, and that's why the Vikings were also abysmal. Didn't make the playoffs. 26, Shadur Sanders. You know the memes. You know. And it's not a meme. It's reality. It's the real timing. Perfect timing. God's timing. Look, Shadur Sanders showed something. Was it Pro Bowl worthy? Absolutely not. But he did show me something. He does have talent to actually play in this league. So maybe in the next couple of years, we could see him really elevate on this list into crack the top 16. So, but overall, not too bad. You're a rookie. I don't expect you to be too much on the Browns offense. And number 25, I had Marcus Mariota, Jaden Daniels, 6'7", whoever you wanted to put here. Whoever. They were both not great. Jaden Daniels injured most of the year. Marcus Mariota, when he did play, wasn't too good. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I have for my top 8, my bottom 8. Excuse me. These guys.
24.
24.
Well, these are 8. 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27. 26, 25, that's 8.
Did I miscount?
Daniel did.
I might have miscounted. I went to 24.
Oh, I can go to 24. Let me pull it to 24. Let me pull up. Number 24, it's Tyler Shuck, baby. Let's go.
You guys basically have the same exact friggin'. I'm not judging this part.
Jess.
It's pretty much the same exact list.
Jess.
I'm not done.
Jess, we're not done. It's a list in totality, okay? These guys are trash. They're probably going to be within the same ranking because we know who's trash, okay? Now, when it gets to the top, that's when we can really make distinctions, okay? So, 24, I have Tyler Shuck. Look, I thought he showed a good amount of promise, and he actually elevated his team to wins. Made Chris Olave look really good. Made other pieces on that offense look really good. Being that he is like 24 or 25, he's an older rookie, but he showed that he does have experience to play this position. So who knows, next year or 2 years down the line, he might really take that leap into being a really solid starting quarterback. So overall, good rookie year for Tyler Shuck. I think 24 is a perfect ranking for him. And thank you. That's my list. That's my 8 or 9. There you go.
So we're pretty much the same. I mean, I think we don't have to comment too much on where we're at. You were ass. That pretty much is the synopsis. Now, this is where it might start to get interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because injured quarterbacks who are really great and statistical seasons and all that. So let me jump on this real quick. Go ahead, Daniel.
So am I gonna go to 17 or 16?
You can go to 16.
Okay. All right. So 23, Cam Ward.
Hey.
A little bit higher than where Lewis had him. I thought he was very good. I thought towards the end of the season he came on really well. I thought he limited mistakes really well. He was on a miserable Titans offense that's still probably going to be miserable next year, but I think for what he had to work with, he did a very good job. I think that's why I put him over Tyler Schlo as well, because I think he did a lot more with a lot less, so I value that a little bit more. And he stayed healthy the whole year, which is impressive for a rookie. So I give credit to Cam Ward. He had a great year. Didn't really do too much bad, didn't do too much great, but I think limiting mistakes and this being your first year is a good spot for him right now. Not everybody can be CJ Stroud. 22, now Joe Burrow. Okay, now Jess, before you freak out on me, turf toe, he was hurt, and when he came back a little bit too late. He had that one opportunity against the Ravens. He had a really good game on Thanksgiving, but other than that, didn't really do too much crazy. He tried. Still wasn't enough with the Bengals team. I think if he was healthier, obviously he'd be higher. But I think there were quarterbacks who were healthy that I gave credit to. I felt like they deserved to be higher because they were healthy. If this was a list going into next year, obviously I rate him higher. But if we're doing it just based on last year, I put him where he is because he was hurt and injured and not a lot to really go off of. 21, Lamar
You failed
Lamar
your own rankings.
Oh, Jess.
That's
Lamar
just my
Jackson.
opinion.
He didn't fail it. Go ahead.
Yes,
Daniel.
Jess.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Lamar Jackson, same reasoning. I think just he was a little bit better than Burrow when he came back, and he did try to make the playoffs. I give him credit for that. Played a little bit longer, had a little bit more. He obviously wasn't the same. Clearly, he was still dealing with injury. Whatever was going on with his offense as well, didn't look that great. And there were quarterbacks who played better than him. But obviously, when he is healthy and when he is back to being his best version of himself, he's a top quarterback. But this year, he wasn't that. And I think there were quarterbacks who played longer, who had better opportunities, who deserved better. So I give credit to Lamar Jackson for coming back. But when he did come back, he really didn't do too much. At 20, CJ Stroud. The greatest fall off in NFL history. This was made before the playoffs, and thank God it was, because if it was during the playoffs, he'd be in the bottom half of the list. He had some moments. He did, but when Davis Mills came into the game when he got hurt, Davis Mills looked pretty good. And CJ Stroud somehow looked worse. So that's a testament to how bad of a year CJ Stroud kind of had. And it really is puzzling into what happened, into how he became like this. I'm not saying he was the worst, but he did not look good in some games, and his decision-making was terrible. And I get his O-line didn't do him any favors, but you got to look better than that when you were almost a top 5 quarterback 2 years ago. So the inconsistencies are a problem. The interceptions are a problem. The lack of awareness sometimes is a problem. But then again, he makes some good throws sometimes. Was not having Tank Dell and Nico Collins that big of a hindrance? I guess it was. So when you put the ball in CJ Stroud's hands, he kind of fucks up. But yet he beat the Steelers. God forbid. 90 apart, but I think when he came back, he looked good. I think competition was competition. But I think when push came to shove in the regular season, he still kind of didn't deliver when he was supposed to. And I get his whole team was hurt. But I think the numbers and everything backing him just kind of prove that it's a fair ranking right now. There were quarterbacks who were better, quarterbacks who Shanahan would rather have. And when Mac Jones plays the same, if not better than you, I can't put you any higher than 19. That's just my opinion. If a backup's coming in and they look the same, if not better, to me, that's not worthy of a top 16 spot. But I think Brock Purdy had a good year, a decent year. Was it a great year? No. But I think kind of the mid-ish range, I think is fair for him. At 18, this is where Jackson Dart is. I think he was the best rookie quarterback this year. He looked the best. He played the best. The injury obviously hurt. I think if he would have started the year, maybe he'd be higher. And if he would have stayed healthy, he definitely would have been higher. But I feel like 18's fair to start. He looked great. When him and Scatterby were together, they were almost unstoppable as a pair. I think with Malik Neighbors coming back next year, he'll have a better year. He seems to have grasped the NFL offense really well. But I think there were times when he was still a rookie. And there were times where he still kind of made mistakes and he still looked kind of raw. But I think overall, it's a great starting point. And it's a great a great vision into what the Giants could be with him at quarterback. He brings energy. He brings skill. He brings toughness. I think he has a lot of things going for him. But he's not complete yet. I think he's getting there.
My Pookie Bear.
At 17, Bryce Young. I think this is the definition of mid, if not less than mid. He had a good game, then he had a bad game. Then he had a good game, then he had a bad game. Then he had a good game, and then he had a bad game. But then he had a good game again, but then he had a bad game again. It was every other week with this guy. Either he was a top 16 quarterback or he wasn't a top 16 quarterback. That was Bryce Young's year. So I feel like 17 is fair. It may be a tad high for Bryce Young, but I feel like when you look at the year and the year the Panthers had overall, it kind of defines their season based on they went by the beat of his drum, And when he had a good game, they won, and when they had the bad game, they lost. So he had a really good game and a really bad game. So I think he's the definition of mid. So I think 17 is fair. And then lastly, 16 is Aaron Rodgers. He looked his age. He played his aged. He had moments where he turned back the clock. I give him credit. He got the Steelers into the playoffs, so that's why he's kind of a little bit higher than I think people were to be expecting. But I think when you look at the players below him and above him, I can't say he was better than the players above him, but I can make an argument for the players that are below him that he was better. I think that's kind of where I settled on this. And yeah, I think just Rodgers had a year that won't be remembered, but at the end of the day, he got them to the playoffs. He gutted it out. He stood in the pocket. He made throws when he needed to. He had the clutch gene sometimes, and I think overall it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible, all things considered. The Steelers got what they got, and I think they're relatively happy because of what the Steelers are. Just mid. They like being just mid, and the quarterback was just mid. But that was my 24 to 16. 23 to 16.
Ooh. Daniel cooked. He cooked again, chat. All right, let's share this screen, chat. Let's get it. Here we go. Let me open up. Bam. Here we go. So my 23 to 16 that will come up. I have Jacoby Brissett at 23. Look, listen. To be able to do something on an Arizona Cardinals team and like come in week to week and like throw for like 400 something yards almost every time, and Kyler Murray just being ineffective as fuck, I value that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You're slinging the rock. You're throwing it a lot. You're getting some touchdowns, right? Didn't result in any wins because the Arizona Cardinals team is abysmal. But overall as a QB, I thought he was high. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people were like, Jacoby Brissett better than Kyler Murray. Jacoby Brissett, he's better than some starters. You put him on another team with a good O-line and a good defense, you might have something. Calm it down. But I thought he played okay. He was a veteran. He knew what he was doing. He was throwing some touchdowns, and they gave him fucking the keys to throw the ball however much he wanted. At 22, I have Joe Burrow. I think me and Daniel's list is going to look the same for the next 3 picks. I just thought Joe Burrow, he didn't play enough. If he played more, he probably would have been higher because Joe Burrow's elite. But, injuries, you only played, 8 games? As I'm looking at it, yeah, you only played 8 games this season. Not enough for me to put you above some of these guys who's played 13, 14, 15, 16 in the whole entire season. I just can't do that. No matter how elite your stats may look, you have to play. And he tried his best late season to come back and really play those meaningful games, but it's the Bengals. There are no meaningful games in January because they're awful. So there you go. 21, I have Lamar Jackson. Injuries, same kind of deal. When he did come back, he wasn't as good as we thought he would be. I thought Lamar Jackson, he was very shaky against bad teams. And then when he played good teams, he had moments. But it was very sporadic for me, and also the injuries didn't help his case at all. And I just thought that these other guys were just better during the season. So, 20, we have C.J. Stroud. 6-7. It's. I love C.J. Stroud. I remember end of season in his rookie year, I had him top 5. Okay, I was very high on this guy.
We all did.
And for me, for me at least, he's a very consistent top 10 to 15 guy. For me, talent wise. But man, I don't know what's up with his psyche. He needs to see a sports psychologist, therapist, everything that has to do with his mental, because he does have the talent. The talent's not the issue. It's something wrong with the mental that's going on with him. Maybe not having Tank Dell, maybe hurt some things. Maybe, inconsistencies with players on the field, injuries, all line. That could all play a factor. It's a football team. Now, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. But when you're throwing picks and you're looking awful at quarterback and you're fumbling the rock and you're damn near hindering your team from winning, even with a Super Bowl caliber defense, if you play better against the Patriots, you could possibly be in a Super Bowl. If you play better down the stretch, your team could have possibly won more games. So I think C.J. Stroud, he really just choked up when it really mattered most, and I don't think his season is indicative of him as a player. I just think it's the season that he had. 19, I have Daniel Jones. Okay, listen. Daniel Jones before the injury, this brother was balling. Okay, if he didn't get hurt, probably be top 10, closer to pushing top 5 because the Colts were bugging. Okay, they were having a fantastic year. And then he got hurt. He played injured for a couple games, and then he tore his Achilles. So, way to go. He went out on his shield. That's cool. Would have liked him to just kind of rest up after that injury and try to get healthy to save his stock. But, I think he had a really solid year. I think the future's up in the air for him after this year. But for this season alone, he had really high highs and some low lows, resulting in the injury at the end. So I can't, really knock him for that. But I have him at 19. 18, I have Patrick Mahomes. Okay, Patrick Mahomes played most of the season, got injured at the end. I thought his performance was... it's tough because we know he's elite. And the thing about Patrick Mahomes is that we know he's a top 5 quarterback every time he steps on the field, top 2 even. But this season, it was just something was off.
But it wasn't enough. His eliteness was off because the Chiefs tanked. They were shit. And they became super shit.
We got Jess Chris Collinsworth. Lowry here. Whenever it's Patrick Mahomes,
we got heel Jess.
She got to get the input in. She has to. But I think for me, it just
EPG.
His year is not indicative of him as a player. He just did not play well at all, and he is the reason why some of those games they lost down the stretch, right? Because he just wasn't clutch enough. There were some games that the other teams just were better, and he tried his damnedest to do it. But with the interceptions and with the not clutch moments and with the team just kind of being sporadic on offense, having no running game, that kind of hindered his performance as a top QB. So I'll go with 18 for Patrick Mahomes. Probably push him a little higher. But I think, personally, his year was very meh for me. Very meh from an elite quarterback that I know next year I'm putting top 10. I know next year I'm putting top 5 to start. I know I am. And you can't tell me otherwise because he's Patrick Mahomes. He's Patrick Mahomes. But this year I just don't see him in that light. Number 17, I have Jackson fucking Dart. My guy, my Pookie Bear. He's everything that I wanted and more. If he started the whole year, he probably would be a bit higher. Maybe top 16 quarterback. He showed some elite level flashes this year. So is it going to be just a flash in the pan? Is it going to be just, lightning in a bottle? Ka-chow. I don't know what it's going to be next year for Jackson Dart. I truly don't. New offense, new coach, new everything, right? So we'll see next year. But for this year, his rookie season, to look elite and to put the Giants in situations where they were beating some fucking good-ass teams, playoff teams this year. And then the defense just started choking up, right? I think Jackson Dart played fucking phenomenal. And if they got some of those wins against some of those playoff teams, you could say he's higher, Jim. You could put him higher. But I think 17 is fair for him. I don't think he's there yet. I think he needs more seasoning, more time to develop, and really hone his game. So I'm going to put Jackson Dart at 17. Now, number 16. I have Bryce Young. Yay! Definition of mid. Daniel hit it right on the fucking nose. This guy, Panthers were just fucking 6-7ing all through the fucking year. They didn't know if they wanted to win or lose or win or lose or win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They didn't know what they wanted to be. And in the end of the year, they almost choked it up in the playoffs. Or leading up to the playoffs. They almost didn't make the playoffs because the Bucks and them were also very bad. But I think Bryce Young, he had some good moments. And this is what we've wanted to see from Bryce Young. We know he has talent, but we need to see it. We want to see those flashes. We want to see that lightning. Ka-chow. We want to see it work for him. We want to see, literally, me and all the homies, we want to see Bryce Young be a top 10 QB in the league. We want to see it. Right? He's came out of Alabama, did not start great. And this year was pretty rocky, but he had some really fucking clutch moments for the Panthers to even make the playoffs. And he showed some good flashes. So if he could just be more consistent and that offense could get a little better, who knows? Bryce Young might be pushing that 13, 12, 11, potentially 10 range. We don't know, but this is a solid end of year for Bryce Young. Yeah, shout out to Bryce Young. Shout out to him. And there you go. Those are my 24 to 16 right there.
Jess, you have any thoughts?
Felt like you guys copied each other.
You know what's funny? We didn't have, like, it was funny because whenever we talked about this, we were like, so Daniel, did you do it yet? He's like, no. I'm like, I did it. I just got to finish the middle part.
I will say though, I kind of agree with a lot of the placements, except for Joe Burrow, but that's all that matters.
Sure.
But you're right about his criticism too. But still, he doesn't deserve to be there. He deserves to be.
And you're correct. You're right. He doesn't deserve it. The fucking Bengals deserve all the blame. Fucking shit organization. Bringing down our
They
Pookie
do.
Bear.
They're assholes. They're making his life hard. They are making his life hard. And
Well, he's depressed.
I think we all witnessed his slow mental decline
It
in the
really
last
was
few
mental.
games, and
It
how
really
he
was.
was like pulling his hair out at that press conference. So I don't know, but some people are gluttons for punishment, and he'll probably stay with the Bengals. You know, he's not gonna ask for a trade. Some people like hard
Well,
things. I don't know.
moving on. We're going to do 15 to 11. Save the top 10 for last. So 15 of Daniel Jones. Um, look, got hurt late. He had an MVP run very early on. The Colts were cooking. They seem to have unlocked him to some degree. The numbers maybe weren't there, but he was a top 10 quarterback midseason for me. He was really good, really great. And then he got hurt. And I think also why I have him kind of maybe a little bit higher than Lewis. Once he got hurt, the Colts went nowhere. And I think that only proves the impact that he had on that team and how important he was to that team, because they really had no replacement. They had to call in Phillip Rivers to kind of save them, and that really didn't work out. But still, they really had no backup plan, and that's kind of the. I'm not blaming that on Daniel Jones, but I think you could see how important he was to that team, and that makes his value on this list even more important for me. So I feel like that being said, it's why I have him kind of this high, and why I feel like he deserves to be a top 16 quarterback right now. Obviously, we'll see where he ends up next year, if he ends up anywhere at all, if he plays at all next year. It's unfortunate what happened, but I think you have to give him credit. You have to give him, his flowers. He had a great year before he got hurt. And maybe he could have got the closest to the playoffs if he would have stayed healthy. Who knows? But it's unfortunate what happened, but I think 15 is a fair spot for him. 14, Baker Mayfield. Look, I think this guy was great. He was phenomenal. This midseason, he was great. Then he kind of dipped. And when he fell apart, the Bucs fell apart. The interceptions were a problem. The touchdowns dried up. Mike Evans was hurt. Chris Godwin was hurt. I get that. And Mekabuka, had an okay year. When you have no one to throw the ball to, it hurts you as a quarterback. But at the same time, you have to try to find a way. And while the Bucs did find a way to some degree, he couldn't get the job done. And I feel like Baker Mayfield wasn't the issue, but he wasn't the solution. But I think you also have to credit him for the great start he had with the Bucs and the great start he had to the year. I think just towards the end of the season, it just dried up and everything went downhill, and it crashed. So I feel like crashing out of the top 10 is not a bad thing. But for Baker Mayfield and the way he looked, it's lucky that it's at 14, because there were a lot other quarterbacks that were better than him and not much that were worse. Is Baker Mayfield a bad quarterback? No, but at the same time, he didn't help his case at the end of last year. So I think 14 is fair. I think the year the Bucs had is the placement that he has. Almost made the playoffs. They won that game and still didn't make the playoffs against the Panthers. But I think at the end of the day, he wasn't great. He was good. Wasn't bad. 14. At 13, Jordan Love, the forever 13. I can never put him any higher than this position. He's never ever moving for me. Like I don't know. Like I can't put him above quarterbacks I think are better that are better than him, but he's not the worst. He's just kind of there. Jordan Love. He's good. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but he doesn't elevate anybody. I don't. When I look at him, I don't see eliteness. He hasn't put together a year where I could say you're a top 10 quarterback, bro. But at the same time, bad. I would take him over a lot of guys right now. He's pretty consistent in where he is. Are the Packers going to go anywhere with him at quarterback? I don't know. I don't know if he can elevate to that next
I don't
level. I
think
think this 13 is just where he's going to be forever. Go ahead, Jess.
I don't think he'll do much with the Packers. If he does not improve consistently wise in this next season, they're gonna move on for him. Or they're gonna move on
Hot
from
take.
Matt LaFleur.
Hotter take. 12, forever Bo Nix. I think Jordan Love and Bo Nix are tied at the hip. I think the two of them are just 13 and 12. Not good enough to be top 10, but not enough to be 16 and 15. I think they're pretty okay. And granted, Bo Nix had a pretty good year, all things considered. He brought he basically got the Broncos to the AFC Championship game before he got hurt at the end. Had a great game against Josh Allen, and maybe if we factored in playoff games, maybe I would put him a little bit higher. But I think regular season wise, unless it was the fourth quarter, that offense wasn't doing shit. And when you command the shit, you gotta lay it on the sword. And I feel like Bo Nix again, he was clutch. He had clutch drives. He had big fourth quarters. But everything before that, he looked inept at times. And I think that's kind of indicative of the Broncos' year offensively. When it mattered, but the build up to that point made games closer than they needed to be. And I feel like Bo Nix didn't really do too much to kind of consistently show this offense can do what they need to do. I think they've proved it in the playoffs. They had a great playoff run, beating the Bills. But I think after that, you could kind of see the ineptitude. But Bo Nix, to me, I think he's a really good quarterback. He knows how to command that Bronco offense specifically. He knows what he needs to do. He does what he needs to do. But he doesn't, again, show that next level that I'm looking for. That next level that we could all see, that we could all we could see it in a quarterback. When a quarterback is next level, we can see it. And I think with Bo Nix, it's not there yet. It could be, maybe it should be, but I feel like he's not. I can't, in good faith, put him any higher than 12th, in my opinion. 11, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a good year. I think Jalen Hurts had a very fine year. I think he had a year probably nobody expected, numbers-wise, and play scheme-wise. I think it didn't hurt him. It didn't hinder him. I think quarterbacks are better. I think he's just outside the top 10. I think I'll take him over a lot of other quarterbacks in this league. But I feel like 11 is fair for the year he had. Because he did make mistakes. And that Eagles offense at times looked miserable. But at the same time, he looked pretty good. And I think he, limited turnovers the best he could. He got the ball to where it needed to go. And I didn't really think he was the main problem on Eagles offense. I don't. But at the same time, you command the ship, you got to lay on the sword. So I feel like he kind of gets the blame for it. But I think all things considered, he had a pretty decent year. And I think, the Eagles were where they were. They won that playoff game against the Niners. But other than that, they lost the playoff game against the Niners, which wasn't his fault. A.J. Brown catch a ball. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at. I don't blame him for the Eagles' year. I think it was a good year, but I just think there were better quarterbacks than him. And I'm not saying he's not elite, but he kind of fringes on that line here and there. I think this year you kind of saw where he's kind of that fringe elite guy. So I feel like 11 is fair for Jalen Hurts. But that was my 15 through 11.
There we go, Jim. Yo, we're cooking. We're steamrolling right now, chat. We're fucking steamrolling, Jim. All right, here we go. Let me get my 15 to 11 here. Let me big screen that. Let me put that on the stream. There we go. Here we are. All right, number 15. It's everybody's favorite. It's our favorite. It's Brockers Purdy. Pewter City gym leader Brock. One of the most famous Brocks of all time. Top 3 Brocks of all time. I have him at 15. I think when he came in to this year, he was obviously hurt. And then the back half of the year, I thought was really, really good. I thought it was really solid. And you could kind of see how he elevated that team when he started to play good and when he really came into his own after the injuries. So I ranked that pretty high because it kind of, he was doing some MVP level shit, but he wasn't doing it for long enough. But I still rate um, how he played with that 49ers team. You had Christian McCaffrey. You had all these guys injured pretty much. George Kittle went out. Jawan Jennings was out. Ricky Pearsall was out. You had a lot of guys just on rotation. And then when Brock Purdy came in, he had to rein the ships in and, keep it steering straight. And he did that. He had multiple touchdown games where 3+, and he looked really good, and he made some really magical plays. So I think Brock Purdy, for me, is a top 15 quarterback, top 15, 16 quarterback. I feel like that's his range. I don't know if I can move him up. Maybe next year I may have him maybe 14, 15, probably in that range. But I think it's fair for Brock Purdy. I think the talent-wise, he played really good. Longevity just was not there for me. Now, if he did it for like 14 games instead of like 8 or 9, then maybe we could have a different conversation and maybe move him up a slot or two. But I think this is fair for him based on the year that he had. 14, I have my Pookie Bear Baker Mayfield. It was a hard downfall. -9. This brother was he was really good. He was top 5.
A challenging year.
He was top 5 for me. It's sad, watching just the downfall of an organization just not take accountability for any of their coaching flaws, any of their play calls, their schemes. And Baker Mayfield just did not play well either. He played painfully fucking ass. But in the beginning of the year, he played really good. So the first 9 games versus the last 9 games leads him to 14. Leads him to this ranking right here, which is fucking middle of the pack. Baker Mayfield's still a really good quarterback, but man, this year, this downfall was just, it was horrific. I mean, he was one of the worst quarterbacks statistically throughout the last half of the season. Like, if we're just taking the first 9 games, he could be MVP of the league. Or if you take the last 9 games, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. So I think the year in totality, I think it leads him to this middle of the pack spot. Could have put him, I couldn't put him below Brock Purdy. I feel like that would be fucking disrespectful. Or Bryce Young. I feel like that might be a little disrespectful too. But, I think 14's fair for him. It was tough for me to rank him, not only because I think he's great, but also because the year was a bit shaky, right? He was super hot and then super cold. So I think 14's fair for me. 13, I have Aaron Rodgers. Look at Unc go. Look at Unc go.
Look at Unc go.
Yo, let me tell you something.
Who would have thought?
His numbers in Pittsburgh, not bad. With only one receiving threat and like 5 tight ends and like a bunch of running backs that nobody gives a fuck about, let me tell you, not a bad year. If Aaron Rodgers had a little bit more talent, who knows? May put 30 touchdowns, chat. May have had another extra win. The Steelers were winning these games, and Aaron Rodgers did play well in some of these games. Now, granted, he has some moments where he looks like 42 years old. He looks old as dirt. But for the most part, I thought his year was solid, especially for his age, right? Maybe I'm taking it as maybe this is like I'm giving him too much grace because he's like a senior citizen at quarterback. So I'm be like, oh, you brushed your teeth today? Good for you, I think overall that he was solid throughout the year, and I think he was top 15 this year. Or at least somewhat close to that. I know Daniel had him 16. It's right there, right? He's definitely in that top 16 for me, that upper half of quarterbacks. I think if you are going to put him below that, I think that's criminal. I think that is justice system, counsel, lawyers. I think you need everybody. Like, it's crazy. Number 12, I have Jalen Hurts. I feel like with Jalen Hurts, this is his new range. This 10 to 12.
Do you think?
This is Jalen Hurts, right?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You know how some people, when they walk into a room, like the room changes. and then some people walk into the room and they just fit in with the room. Like they just fit in with what's going on. I feel like Jalen Hurts, that's kind of what happens with the Eagles. It's like when the rest of the team is sour, then he goes sour. Like when the rest of the team kind of feels like they're I feel like he like it's I can now I feel like I see why people question him because like question everyone agrees he's a great player. But there's always this controversy about like, well, how good is he? And does he actually like lead the locker room? Like, he's very quiet and there's always a lot of the Eagles are always going through like this infighting in public.
Mm.
I just feel like he doesn't change no one's atmosphere. What I'm saying, I feel like he just blends in with it's like why can't I'm sure all teams have their problems with each other, but why is it always the Eagles that are bickering out loud? You get what I'm
Philadelphia.
He
saying? It's
doesn't.
like, why can't he just be like, yo,
Yes.
guys, shut the fuck up and let's keep this on the inside? Like, why do we have
I,
to make crazy comments in the media and the press conferences? Why do you have to do stupid shit on the sidelines? It's like, I feel like, and I'm not saying there's like no comparison, but like the greats like Tom Brady, like they walk into their locker room, everyone fucking knows. Like, boom, this is our fucking, like, a general.
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying
I
that's who
mean,
Jalen Hurts has to be, but I just feel like he kind of just like, whatever way the wind is blowing, I'm just going with the flow. Like
Okay,
personally, like I'm not gonna get too hot, get too cold. I'm just gonna like blend in with everything that's going on. You know what I'm? It's just I don't know.
I'm gonna answer this the way Jalen
I
Hurts would answer this in the media. Sometimes when you get close to the
Like
fire,
they're just that was
hold on,
all
hold
word
on, hold on,
salad.
hold on. I'm speaking, young lady. Hold on, I'm speaking. Sometimes, when you're too close to the fire, you get burned. And we got to put out those fires. We got to be firemen.
Is he putting out the fires? No,
I
that's what I'm
feel
saying.
I feel like to Jess's point, what you're trying to say is that it feels like he's just a guy who's just really good at
Mm.
quarterback. You know what I mean? Like he's just a
No,
guy
no,
in the room.
okay.
He's not the leader of that
He's
room.
not the elevator
Yeah, he's not the
of
leader,
um
but he
of
is
the
a
man.
great. I listen. I think I don't take away from his talent, and I do agree. Like I think he's a great player. I just feel like he acts like he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just here, like background noise.
But I think to your point, you're the quarterback. You have to at least be somewhat of the leader. That comes with the position. You have to act like the general. You have to act, and even if you're not acting, you have to kind of be that people lean on you because you're the quarterback.
Yeah.
You are the star of the
Yeah,
team. You are the face of the team. And I think not even like Jalen Hurts. I feel like this group that we have with like Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, they all kind of fill the same role. They're just guys who are good quarterbacks that don't lead and don't elevate their teams to any kind of standard, right? And I think some do it better than, but I think when we go to that next tier that we're going to get to now in a little bit, you see these guys act like leaders. You see these guys are the general. They have command respected, and these teams listen to them, and these teams they take responsibility for it. Jalen Hurts is just kind of there. And when he throws the ball, maybe it'll be caught, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be a good throw, maybe it won't. And you don't really see him put blame on himself or, the team. It's just kind of, yeah, we got to be better.
Mhm.
Or like, hey guys, let's get going here. But,
yeah,
it could be a reason for the infighting. Maybe it is. Maybe he's not the leader we think he is in that locker room.
I'm gonna answer this guy in
yeah.
chat. All right, his name is Jebediah. What's up, Jebediah? First off, okay. This is this
Hi,
is this
hi.
is this is his first comment. All right, Jebediah, listen. Brock Purdy needs to be 10 spots higher. He was so good when he played. So with three
Oh,
O's. Okay, now listen, Jebediah. I don't know what crack you're smoking, but that's crazy. I think that's
maybe he's a
crazy.
Niners
Are you a
fan.
Niners fan, Jebediah? That's crazy. I
Can I take
think
this one?
I think drugs.
Okay, wait, wait,
Hold
wait,
on
wait.
there.
Can
I got you.
we?
I got you real quick.
Is
Can I take this
he's
one?
10 spots. You can't put him 10 spots higher if he played less games than the spots that you're suggesting he moves up. He played 9 games. Played 9 games. He can't be top 10. He can't be top 5. What are we talking about? That's crazy. That's criminal. Go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe he's trying to give him credit for he did just play 9 games,
But he played good.
but look at what the Niners were dealing with overall. He was still when he came back from his injury, you know, he was able to keep them afloat and to come back in games that they were losing. And through all those injuries, he still brought them to the playoffs, even just playing 9 games. There were other quarterbacks on this list that played 9 games, and they are better than him, and they did not get to the playoffs. And you know who I'm talking at, and it's
Joseph.
me
I'm
going
gonna.
against my own grain here. So it's like I don't think he should be 10 spots higher. What I'm saying is I think people are also giving him credit for playing well with his roster blown out. Okay, he still had Christian McCaffrey, yes. But everyone else was still injured in one way or the other. The defense, like, come on, everyone was hit. Everyone was hit, and he
Daniel,
was able,
take it.
So
without being
Jess and
an
Jess
elite
and
quarterback.
J- and Jess and Jess, Jess, there is a hole in your argument. He had Christian
Where's the
McCaffrey
hole?
and his defense. This is the first
Defense.
reason. He wasn't the best player
They
on his
Nick
team. How
Fred
how can he
Warner,
be a
Nick Bosa.
Jess? He wasn't the best player on his team, and he still is not a top 5 quarterback. So how can he be top 5 if not the best player on your team? Okay, that's first.
I didn't say
Second,
he should be 10 spots higher though.
I'm gonna end this argument right now. I'm gonna end this argument right now.
Also, he did
When
say
we're
also
arguing,
before you continue, he did say, I imagine you have Sam Darnold top 10, obviously, and I think Brock Purdy's better than him. Better than him
okay,
and played better this
real quick.
season?
Real quick,
Criminal.
real
Jebediah,
quick,
you're
real
being
quick,
disingenuous right now.
real
Played
quick.
9 games, Jebediah. You played 9 games.
Real quick, Lewis. I'm gonna
Let
end the
Daniel
argument right
finish.
now. I'm gonna end the argument right now. When we are discussing whether or not Mac Jones was better than him at quarterback, and if Mac Jones could possibly be
Okay.
starting at quarterback, how is he top 5? Explain that one to me.
Okay, but
When
I didn't
Mac
say
Jones
top 5.
played,
That argument is not
no,
for
no, no,
me.
no, just I'm not saying you. I'm saying Jebediah in chat, right? And overall, this argument of him being a top 5 quarterback, how can he be a top 5 quarterback if we're saying his backup was better, if not equal to him this year? You're gonna tell me Mac Jones was a top 5 quarterback when he had to fill in? We're gonna make that argument? I'm not saying that. And if somebody is saying that, I would love to have that argument. Okay? So you want to explain to me how the Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold, right? And I get it, regular season maybe didn't put flashy numbers, didn't really do all that much. When Sam Darnold played him 3 times, and Sam Darnold played better than him in all 3 of those games, one of them being a blowout, the second one being a defensive masterclass where Brock Purdy couldn't do anything against that Seattle defense, where he scored 3 points, 3 points at home. In a must-win game for the division, and that offense scored 3 points as a top 5 quarterback to you? Does that sound like one? I don't think it is. Me personally. I'm just saying. But, that's
Jebediah, I
just
hope you're not a Niners fan.
Jebediah, listen.
just
I'm not saying
look,
that you shouldn't be.
look,
But I feel like
look,
these
look,
are valid arguments, and
and
I don't know if you've been
look,
here long enough, Jeb, but I was a big Brock Purdy fan.
Listen, me too. I'd love to give you top 5, Jebediah, but I can't right now.
We were Brock Purdy
can't.
vouchers.
I can't. I love
look,
to say he's top 5.
I don't think he had a
great.
bad year. Look, I think he's a top 20 quarterback. On all the years he's been in the league, he's been a top 20 quarterback. Is he better than 15? I don't think so. I don't think there's been a year where he's proven that. And that's coming from me. I'm a Brock Purdy hater. I'll be the first stand on that hill. But he's not the worst quarterback. I'm not saying he is. I think he is a very decent quarterback with very good weapons. Where Christian McCaffrey, you can hand the ball to him at any time and get 10 yards, no problem. Where you have George Kittle, who's very reliable as a tight end. And when you have a healthy receiving core, when you had Brandon Ayuk and healthy Deebo Samuel.
Stop.
Right?
He
and
wasn't
Ricky
there this
Pearsall
year
was
at
pretty
all.
good. But when he did have that,
Ricky
when he
Pearsall
did
also
have
injured.
that, when he did have that, right? Was he a top 5 quarterback?
Brock Purdy was 4th by
never said he was
PFF
the top 10.
rankings. I'm not looking at PFF, brother. I'm keep it real.
We're moving on.
Maybe I'm crazy.
We're
I'm not
moving
looking
on.
at PFF right now. But Jebediah, I'd love to give it to you. I love Brock Purdy. It would be great for my ego and Justice's ego and to
We were big
squash
Brock
Daniel.
Purdy fans, and I still am.
But
I still am.
I think
But
you're pushing the
Not this
envelope
year.
feel
there a
like-
little bit.
Not this year,
Pushing the
bud.
envelope a little bit.
Daniel is.
Not this
I
year,
feel like
bud.
Daniel is not trying to give Brock Purdy any
My
credit,
ego
which is
is
crazy.
winning this one. Okay.
That is true.
My-
I would
my-
agree.
In your
My
mind,
ego is
it
winning
is.
this one.
Yeah. Also, he said
Your
Jalen
mind,
Hurts
it
is so fucking corny. Yeah,
He is.
I agree. I agree. with
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
you. Thank you, Jeb. Excuse
What
me.
do you mean corny? Corny how?
It's a little, okay. Some of his quotes are straight out of like,
Like his
I-
swag?
look, it could come off as a bit corny. Okay, like you're trying too hard to be cool. That's what some people make. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I get it. He's probably like a nice, chill guy, and he probably is very motivational in that way. But I don't think he's corny. But I could see, people. All right, I didn't get to number 11 yet. I need to get to Jordan Love. Okay, I need to show this brother some love. Number 11 is Jordan Love. I liked his year that he had. He was some games a bit inconsistent, and some games, the Packers defense, and that offense struggling to put up points against the Browns. The Browns. How fucking dare you be a playoff team and struggle against the Browns? Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, these legacy franchises, your ass. Okay? That's neither here nor there. I thought Jordan Love had a solid year, and I think this is the range. This is the 14 to 10 range where Jordan Love will fall. It's going to be really tough for me to really see him as a top 10 quarterback. He got close this year. He got close. Jordan, you almost made it. But it's something holding me back with Jordan Love for me to put him in that top 10 echelon. I don't think he's there yet. I haven't seen the leap that I believe that he needs to take in order to get there, which is more consistent play. But Jordan Love is solid. He had a solid fucking year, and he got the Packers to the playoffs once again. Right, 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 66% completion percentage. Pretty good. Pretty solid year, right? Limited turnovers, had a decent run game, and he had some games where he was fucking slanging that rock. And Jordan Love for me is always going to be top 15, unless he just fucking dies off of a hill like C.J. Stroud. So I think 11, somewhere in this range is fair, but I stuck him at 11, and that is my 15 to 11. Jebediah, what you had to say about that, brother? Huh? Come on.
If he's still
Let's bring up PFF rankings.
watching.
Come on, Jebba. Come on. Nah. Jebba's
right.
in the chat. He's here.
Let's
Let
All
me pull it up real
do
quick.
my
Top 10, baby. You want to
My
go full top
10?
10?
you want to do that?
Yes,
10 through
please.
6.
Let's go full top 10.
Top-
The
top
woman
10.
has spoken. Full top 10.
All right. Okay. 10 Justin Herbert. I think Justin had a decent year. I think all things considered, with no offensive line, no running back, old wide receivers, Ladd McConkey going, AWOL the whole year. He did what he could, right? And look, when he had time, he looked good. The problem is he had no time. And when you're running for your life for the whole year and still put up great numbers and somehow getting an MVP vote, don't ask me.
Got MVP.
I think it I think it proves that you have a decent year. I like Justin Herbert as a quarterback. I think people overrate him a tad. That's fine. I think 10 is a perfect spot for him. I think you could do a lot worse than Justin Herbert, and I think if they're able to have an O-line that's healthy, with Slater and with Joe Alt, and they're able to kind of protect him more and give him more time, you'll kind of see how good he can be. But just based on the year he had and what went down, I think 10 is fair. Numbers-wise, it was there. I think play on the field, you could see it, but I can't put him above the people that are above him. I think that's kind of been my ultimate deciding factor. But I like Justin Herbert. I think there's room to grow and get better still. I think with a better offensive line around him, we could see him be better. I think he has the right coach, and now he's got a really good OC with him. So I think next year maybe he could be a little bit higher, but I think 10 right now is a fair spot for Justin Herbert. Number 9, this may cause an argument, Patrick Mahomes. So almost double where Lewis had him. I think Patrick Mahomes this year, before the injury and before everything went down, was one of, if not the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he played up to a different standard of the team that he had, and he was dragging that Chiefs team along by the K and the C, okay, by the arrowhead. All right, he was dragging that team as far as he could take it, and eventually it broke him. But he was putting up phenomenal numbers. I think it was almost like 30 touchdowns. He had 3,000 passing yards. He was putting up insane numbers before he got hurt, and would have had crazy numbers to end the season with basically nothing. You know, Kelsey went AWOL. You know, Rashid Rice missed half the year, and then who was left? You know, he had no run game. And I understand, like, maybe the play doesn't really show it, and you don't get the clutch moments. But I feel like the Chiefs in every game were at least in a position to win because of Patrick Mahomes and that defense, right? I don't think Mahomes was the ultimate problem on that team. I think a lot of the stuff around him is what contributed to the Chiefs having a bad year. But he himself was phenomenal and proved how great he was again. After a down year last year, I think he had a big bounce back year this year and was on path to do something. And who would have known if they would have gone to playoffs, it would have been interesting. It really would have. And they kept knocking on that door the whole year when they really didn't have a right to. That team wasn't that good. It wasn't. But he somehow kept them afloat, I feel like. And that defense has a lot to shoulder and has a lot of credit as well. But when Mahomes went down, that team went straight off a cliff. And I feel like Patrick Mahomes was a big reason why they were able to at least somehow get to the dance and somehow, get to the doorstep before eventually not getting knocked off. But I feel like the year he had, and even though he got hurt, later on in the year, I think it's still proven and it's still worthy of being a top 10 quarterback. Maybe not top 5, but I can't put him outside the top 10. I just can't. I feel like his year was phenomenal on all metrics. At 8, this is Sam Darnold. I think playoff Sam was better than regular season Sam, but I think regular season Sam also had a great year. I think obviously JSN is a big factor. I think that run game is a big factor. I think that O-line is a big factor. But I think Sam Darnold proved that he can make the throw that he needs to make. He can push the envelope when he needs to. And when push comes to shove, he was able to run that offense in the right way and drive it into a Super Bowl. They were 14-3. They had the best record in the NFC for a reason. That offense clicked when it needed to. That run game was great. He commanded that team. He stayed healthy. He limited mistakes. He didn't overcommit on throws. And I feel like for the first time, he won key games when he needed to. He beat the Rams. He beat the Niners. He beat other playoff teams on their path to the Super Bowl. I feel like that was the big hurdle for Sam, was playing well in a big game, and he did that. So I feel like, with all that being said, to me, it warrants a top 10 spot. I think 8 is fair. I don't think he was top 5 because I just don't believe that. But I think 8 is fair. I think 8 makes a lot of sense. And I feel like he still has potential to go higher or lower. But I think the Seahawks, he wasn't the big factor, but he was a big piece into getting to where they needed to go. And I think that matters a lot. I think his impact on the Seahawks was big. At 7, Dak Prescott. To me, Dak Prescott had a very sneaky year. He had a very sneaky good year that a lot of people didn't talk about. And I know because the Cowboys are kind of out of the playoff picture by, November. But Dak had crazy numbers. I think it was close to like 45,000 passing yards, almost like 35 touchdowns, very limited interceptions. When CeeDee Lamb went down, he elevated George Pickens, and George Pickens elevated him. He had no run game, but still was able to get the ball to where it needed to go. That Cowboy offense was electric at times, put up massive points. That defense was atrocious. And I feel like Dak Prescott, to me, is where Joe Burrow was 2 years ago. That's how good of a year Dak Prescott had. He was, he would have been a sneaky MVP vote for me. I feel like he had a great year with almost nothing, and when CeeDee Lamb came back, it only made him better. So I feel like Dak Prescott to me had a very sneakily good year and a very sneaky, he also dragged the Cowboys into where in a position to make the playoffs, but that defense was so bad. But I feel like Dak himself was a big part of why the Cowboys were where they were. And CeeDee Lamb's a great receiver. Pickens is a great receiver, but I feel like Dak was able to kind of elevate them to another level as well. And I think Dak had a really good bounce back year compared to last year. So I think Dak to me was very sneaky top 10 quarterback.
If that
Um,
defense was better,
six, Caleb
he would have
Williams,
been MVP. Just gonna say that.
possibly, possibly. Um, yeah, I can't. I can't argue against that. Six, Caleb Williams. I like Caleb. I've turned into a semi Bears fan, and Caleb to me, I think the big number here is the clutch wins, the clutch drives, last 2 minutes of the game. Um, able to kind of bear down, lock down, and get the game-winning drive, get the game-winning points. That defense was kind of meh and iffy, but that offense, when it needed to score, it scored. Especially in the fourth quarter, especially late in games, they found a way. That run offense is also really good. I'm not discrediting that, but I feel like Caleb, like Sam Darnold, was able to do what he needed to do, get the ball to where he needed to go, and he had more mistakes than Sam. But I feel like where Sam couldn't push the envelope, Caleb did. And Caleb demanded more from his receivers and acted, and I think he was more of a leader than Sam was. And I feel like Caleb, because of the clutch wins and because of where the Bears were as a franchise, and DJ Moore is not an elite receiver, and he became an elite receiver this year because of Caleb Williams and his progression. I think you can kind of see how Caleb is now fitting into the league and how he's able to kind of find his niche. I think him and Ben Johnson clicked automatically. That Bears team was electric down the stretch. Massive playoff win as well. So I feel like all things considered, I think Caleb had a really fun year. I think Caleb at 6 is fair. Just on the outside of the top 5, I think he's not there yet, but I think he is an elite quarterback. I think when you have as many fourth quarter drives as he had, I think you kind of deserve that. So I give credit to Caleb Williams that he had a great year. I think it can get better. Like he limit mistakes a little bit more, but I think the Bears are in a really good spot because I think they found their franchise quarterback for the next couple of years, and him and Ben Johnson together were an absolute great pairing. At 5, Jared Goff, like Dak Prescott, sneaky year, had a very sneakily good year. Him and Dak had kind of similar numbers. I think Jared was actually a little bit better than Dak. Just the Lions were inconsistent. And I think Jared Goff, to me, didn't seem like the problem. His offense was electric. I think him and Amon St. Brown had a great year when they needed to. That defense was kind of meh, and that's kind of, I think him and Dak kind of had similar years in how they approached this year and how they approached their teams. But I think Jared Goff, to me, just did a little bit more than Dak and Caleb, and that could be the argument that we're going to have. But I feel like Jared Goff, to me, wasn't the problem. I feel like Jared Goff did a really good job with a lot of weapons. He was able to, control them, able to kind of, get the ball to where it needed to go, push the envelope down the field, and while he didn't drag the Lions, they were right there towards the end of the season. And I feel like he again wasn't the problem why they were where they were. So I give Jared Goff credit for that, and I feel like to me, just in the top 5 is worthy enough. And I feel like if it wasn't for the Bears having a great year, and it wasn't for the Lions defense being pretty meh, they probably, duke it out with the Bears or the Packers for that, 1 or 2 seed. The NFC North was crazy again this year, and the Lions, to me, did not have the team, but Jared Goff wasn't the problem why they didn't make the playoffs. At 4, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, what can we say? Comeback player of the year. The biggest surprise of the year, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, Trevor Lawrence finally looked elite, finally looked good, finally like he knew what he was doing at quarterback. I think, and again, it wasn't that he had a lot of elite weapons. Travis Hunter was hurt. Brian Thomas Jr. wasn't all that. He really didn't have a lot of eliteness around him, but he was able to do just enough at quarterback and do more than enough to elevate his team to the playoffs. And down the stretch, they looked unbeatable. That offense was humming. That defense was electric. And I think Trevor Lawrence is a big spearhead into why. He limited mistakes really well. He was able to push the envelope down the field. And I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars' success comes down to him. And when it mattered, they were able to find a game-winning drive. And I think the difference between him and Caleb and Jared is that Trevor found a way to make it a bit more, not easier is not the word, but maybe a bit more, seamless, a bit more, easy looking, a bit more sexier. It didn't feel like a struggle for Trevor as it maybe felt like for Caleb or for Jared. But I feel like Trevor Lawrence, he found that smoothness in his game, and he found that flow, and he found that ability to kind of push the offense and make it really really elevated around him, where he didn't feel like he was he wasn't forcing mistakes. Everything felt natural. Everything felt elite. And I think if he could play like that again next year, Jacksonville's going to be a scary team again. Um, at 3 is Josh Allen. Look, Josh Allen is great. He's elite. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He did a lot this year, and he proved why he needed to do a lot this year because that team was god awful, in my opinion. Um, it wasn't where it needed to be. He really had nobody to throw the ball to. He really had to really do everything that he could to kind of win. And I feel like Josh Allen, to me, is a next level quarterback. He is a unicorn. He is, great. But I feel like at times, because he has to do too much, it forces him to make mistakes. He has to push the ball down the field. He has to push the envelope. He has to constantly keep doing so much for this Bills team that he'll get a mistake here and there, and that knocks him in the rankings, right? And I feel like if, they had a better year, they were able to beat the Patriots, they were able to finish first, I feel like there's a shout for MVP for him. But I feel like it's very hard to do that when you look at his numbers and you look at the overall product and you look at the overall struggle of what it was. Sometimes with the Bills offense, there are some games in there where it's like, what happened here, right? So I think Josh Allen is a unicorn. He's great. He's elite. He proved it, with absolutely nothing how great he is as a quarterback. But there were moments and there were times where it was like, he can't do everything, you know. And James Cook did a lot of the shouldering as well. But when you look at it, Josh Allen was the team. And if Josh Allen ever goes down for the Bills, who the hell is going to do what he does? At 2, Drake May. Drake May. Look, I think Drake May, took a massive step up where he was last year. I think the Patriots team took a massive step up. Him and Mike Vrabel had a great connection. He did what he needed to do. He did a lot of very good stuff with the football. He did a lot of good, protecting receivers and getting the ball down the field. His running game was elite. He made very decisive runs, very important runs, very impactful runs. I think he's kind of proven he can be a dual threat quarterback, which people didn't expect. I think him and Lamar Jackson kind of had similar numbers in terms of their run game. But also his passing is very good. I think, he has all the tools to be a top quarterback in the league, and he proved that this year. Obviously, the Patriots made the Super Bowl. They were able to kind of push through the playoffs. He was a big reason why. And, it looked shaky. It did. But during the regular season, he was a monster. He put up those Patriots, last 4 games of the season, he put up monster points, averaging, 30, 40 points a game. They beat the Bills at one point. So I feel like this Patriot team was a big reason why they were so good because Drake May played so well. And they were able to rely on him. He was able to grow. And as the season went on, he got better. Every week, he got better. And every test that was put in front of him, he excelled, if not met the challenge. And look, when push came to shove in the final in the Super Bowl, it is what it is. He did not look great, but I feel like during the regular season, if we're doing regular season stats only, he's up there with everybody else in terms of elite quarterbacks. So Drake May, I think, could maybe start the year a little bit lower, but I think for the year he had this year, he was 1, if not 2. But of course, number 1, Matthew Stafford. If you look up picture in the dictionary and you look up quarterback, Matthew Stafford is the guy. This is a quarterback. He's a leader. He's able to put the ball wherever it needs to go. He elevates receivers. He's a winner. He's clutch. He's great. He's still doing it at his age, almost 40. He has elite numbers. He doesn't turn over the ball as much as he used to. I mean, there's so many superlatives and so many stats you could throw at Matthew Stafford that it doesn't justify how good he was this year and how good he was for the Rams this year. Like, I think Matthew Stafford, to me, was the ultimate quarterback and the definition of a quarterback. And obviously the Rams didn't get to where they needed to go this year, but he wasn't the problem. He made some ridiculous throws down the stretch and during the season. He beat really good teams. He was in an absolute tough division with the Seahawks and the Niners. And he had great games against both those teams. So I feel like any other year, if the Seahawks don't exist, the Rams are Super Bowl champions. Easily. I think Matt Stafford is the big reason why. And I know he has Puka, he had Devontae Adams, but me and was talking about this last week as well, off stream. It's not the fact that he has Puka and Devontae and Kyron Williams. It's the fact that he's able to, feed into their strengths. He's able to get Puka the ball and the run into space and allow him to get yard depth of the catch. When Devontae Adams is on a fade route and a one-on-one in the goal line, he's able to put that ball in a perfect position for Devontae to catch it, right? He's able to kind of put these balls and he's able to kind of put these throws in perfect position for his receivers to catch it. That it proves what a quarterback is and what a quarterback does. So I think overall, Matt Stafford to me was the best quarterback in the league. I think you can't deny that. I think he's deserving MVP. I think, again, if the Rams aren't one, they're two. Or if they're not two, they're one in terms of teams in the NFL. So shout out to Matt Stafford. He was great.
Ooh. He cooked.
Good job,
He
Daniel.
cooked, Chad. He cooked. There we go. Now, you guys could discuss the top 10. I have to pee. I'll be right back.
I'm eating cake, so I turned my camera off.
All right, we should take a break. Take a quick break.
We can't. People are watching. Oh my God, people. I will come back and save Pierre Jebediah if you're still watching. I guess these boys have to pee. And we're live streaming, so it's not like someone's going to edit this out. So when it's on VOD, this is going to be real. They couldn't wait. They couldn't wait till I was done snacking. I can't hear you. You're muted.
We're back.
Oh, okay. You're
We're in
back.
a new location, right? What's going on? I had to change positions. I had to change rooms. We're back. We're good.
All right.
A lot of moving pieces going on tonight, but we're here.
We're here. You got.
Lewis, when you went away, I had to go away.
Oh man. Oh no.
Don't worry. I kept it. I came back on and I complained about you guys, so it's fine. I told everyone I'm sorry that this is unprofessional. That you guys just can't hold your piss until I come back from eating my friggin' cake.
Fair enough. There you go.
But it's okay.
All right. It's time, chat. It's time to get into my top 10. Here we go. Why am I nervous? I'm nervous. Ooh, Chad.
Are you nervous?
I'm nervous, Chad. Here we go. I'm a little nervy. I'm a little nervy. All right. At number 10, to start off the top 10, I have Sir Caleb Williams, the Iceman, the man who paints his nails and talks a little zesty. But boy, can he throw a 40-yard fade route off his back foot. This brother was clutch. He showed me a lot of good tape to be top 10. I think he's very worthy of this spot. I think this could be the new norm for him. For me to put him a bit higher than this, it would have to be consistency with the football. I love clutch plays. The Bears, fucking magical season this year. But there were some games where Caleb just wasn't as consistent as I would like him to be as a quarterback, right? When we're throwing 50% completion games. That's a little tough, chat. I'm just gonna say it. It's a little tough, okay? But he had a lot of fucking flashes and a lot of lightning was fucking striking. Ka-chow. And he was just a sensational quarterback. He had sensational moments, worthy of a top 10 spot. Clearly, I thought he was one of the top 10 quarterbacks this year by far. Next, I have Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos, man. The fourth quarter comeback king. This guy, when the fourth quarter hit, he turned it to Matthew Stafford, turned it to an MVP. This guy couldn't miss a throw. I think looking at the totality of Bo Nix's year, I think it was a solid year for Bo Nix, right? I don't think it was anything too insane where you got to put him top 5. You got to do all these other things with Bo Nix. I thought his year was solid, right? When you look at his year, 25 total touchdowns, almost 4,000 passing yards, 63% completion. He played well. He had good stats. It just got muttered down because of the offensive woes in the first half for the Broncos in most of those games. But I feel like later down in the year, they started to find some offense, right? They started to find that consistency. And I like Bo Nix. I think his game is good. He has sneaky running ability too. I think he is a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he's close to top 5 yet. He has to take that next elite leap for me. But I think between that 12, 11, 10, 9 range, perfect range for Bo Nix. I got him at the top of that range at number 9 here. +3. He was number 12, but now I got him at +9. 9. At 8, I have Justin Herbert, the guy everybody glazes on Instagram, the guy who's dating Madison Beer, the guy who's 6'6" and beautiful and long hair and has everything, money and
Nice.
strong arm. Must be
nice.
Must be nice to be fucking Justin Herbert, isn't it? I'm mad. Okay. But I think Justin Herbert is clearly
Lives in LA.
Yeah, lives in LA, nice place. I think Justin Herbert is clearly a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he is anywhere close to top 5. Obviously, I have him at 8, but I don't think that he would even be remotely close to top 5. I think, his year was good with the talent that was around him, right? 26 touchdowns, almost 4,000 yards as well. Had 66% completion percentage. So pretty good 94 QBR or quarterback rating. Or passer rating, excuse me. And he was a really solid quarterback and he had to make some really clutch plays. His offensive line gave this brother no time sometimes. Every time he dropped back, it was like World War II. He was running for his life. There was bombs coming over here. There was shots fired from over here. He had to get down into the trenches. He had to cover. His friend Lenny's foot got blown off from a grenade. Now he has to tend to Lenny's foot. You know what I mean? There was just a whole fucking lot for him to deal with. But even then, he still played good. Still played good. Still played up to a top 10 level. That's why I have him at number 8. 7, I have Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's year was fucking phenomenal. I like Dak Prescott's year. That offense of the Cowboys was literally one of the best offenses we may have ever seen. But it got let down by the defense. But just speaking about the quarterback, Dak Prescott fucking played phenomenal ball. 30 touchdowns, really good passer rating, quarterback percentages. He was bugging. Over almost 4,500 passing yards. He was sensational as a quarterback. It's just that his defense kind of let him down. But that offense was really good, and he was the main driver for that offense of the Cowboys. Number 6, I have Trevor Lawrence. This is the biggest upgrade of anybody on the list. Trevor Lawrence at plus 17 spots. This brother was sitting at, 23 or 24. He was nowhere to be found midseason. I mean, what were we talking about? Nobody was singing Trevor Lawrence's praises midseason. But then Jaguars started to pick up some steam. Trevor Lawrence started throwing for more touchdowns. He started looking real good, started making clutch plays. And Trevor Lawrence slowly but surely became one of the best QBs in the league. And I think it's finally time. It's finally time for him to be in these conversations. Finally time for him to be close to top 5, pushing top 5, and pushing into that elite status of quarterback. Because we've heard about potential for years. Now he finally put the pieces all together. And with Liam Cohen, second year, could really get some good consistency there. Somebody under center who believes in him. Or on the sideline who believes in him. So I think the sky is only the limit for Trevor Lawrence. But I think he can surpass that. I think he could do better than that. I think he has the tools. He has the weapons around him. Liam Cohen is a great coach. And, Jacksonville has something to care about now at the quarterback position. Because, at a little bit, we were talking about getting rid of Trevor Lawrence. We were talking about, first overall pick didn't really work out. But he really showed and really came on this year. That's why I have him at 6. He played really well. Sam Darnold at 5. It's hard to put the Super Bowl winning quarterback anything less than the top 5. It's kind of hard. It's pretty difficult. The turnovers was a bit much for me for Sam Darnold. But some of these fucking moments he had was fantastic. Him and Jackson Smith and Jigba were elite, were amazing. I thought he was a top 6 QB at the midseason. I think he still played that way throughout the rest of the year. I have him at top 5. He goes up one spot. Wins the Super Bowl. Phenomenal regular season. Turnovers, we got to limit those, Sam. We got to limit those. Please. Please. But I think his best games outshine some of those games. And he played in a really tough division, played some really tough teams. And in that NFC where you had those top teams, really, it was super top heavy. And both of them being your division and you duking out, winning 14 games. Chef's kiss for Sam Darnold. Shout out to you. Former Jets legend, Super Bowl champion as well. Next, I have Jared Goff at number 4. Jared Goff's year was fucking fantastic. He really fucking sneaky. 68 percentage of completion, 4,500 passing yards, 34 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, right? He was statistically one of the best top 3 QBs in the league. I don't know how he didn't get an MVP vote. If they just won 10 games, he probably would have gotten a little bit more. Maybe would have taken away from Drake May a little bit. But Jared Goff, I don't know what was wrong with the Lions this year, but he fucking played phenomenal. He was not the problem in Detroit. He had a phenomenal season this year, which is warranted of a top 5 spot. Next, as Daniel was going through his top 3, it's the same for me. I'm going to just lump these guys together because they're all elite quarterbacks. I think it's tough to argue these as the 1, 2, and 3. Maybe if you want to put Jared Goff above Josh Allen, or you maybe throw in a Dak Prescott in there, for the fly. But I think Josh Allen was the 3, Drake May the 2, and Matthew Stafford as the 1. I think these guys play phenomenal. I think these guys pretty much were top 5 QBs the entire year. I had Matthew Stafford at 1 during the midseason. The S means he stayed the same. He was the same. He did not move. He was the MVP of the league for a reason. 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, over 4,700 passing yards. Chef's kiss, can't say anything else. Drake May, great second season. He's going to be great for the future. And Josh Allen did Josh Allen things because he's Josh Allen, Josh Allen, Josh Allen, Josh Allen. Thank you. That is my quarterback rankings for the 25-26 season. Let's debrief, chat. Let's talk about it, chat.
I mean, the only big difference that we had was Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like everything was pretty chalk. I know Jess has her reasons on Joe Burrow. But I feel like everything else was kind of where we needed it to be. Everything else was fair. I think Caleb is Caleb. I think, that's kind of the one thing where I topped in. I think he could have been a little bit higher, but I can't argue it. I think you make good points. I think we're arguing over a few spots, but I think the biggest gap was probably Jacoby Brissett and Patrick Mahomes. I think other than that, we were pretty fair. Yeah, I mean, I have no problems with your list. I really don't.
That's the only thing would be the Patrick Mahomes, really. When I saw Patrick Mahomes at 9, to be honest, I forgot he was even a quarterback on this list at one point. Because your list was just going by so smooth. I was like, oh, I didn't even notice he wasn't even here. And then I see him in the top 10. I said, huh? Crack? Cocaine? Meth? Drugs?
I don't think that. I think he...
Didn't you
I know
have
his
him in your
numbers-
top 10, Lewis?
No, I had him at like...
What
Yeah,
number
but
did you
18.
have him?
I had him at 20.
He had him at
21.
18.
Did I? Oh, yeah, I did have him at 18. Yes, I did. Yeah, I had him at 18.
And Daniel, you had him at what?
9.
9.
That's a big gap. That's big. That's big.
I feel like, even though his numbers don't show it, the impact he had on that team to get them as close as they were to the playoffs with a miserable team that they had, I think only proves how great he was this year, and that I think he was able to do so much with basically nothing. A fourth of a Travis Kelce, no receivers, and no run game, and still be almost a game out of a playoff spot. And they were close games. They weren't blowouts. I think that deserves credit. I do. I think it's still a top 10 worthy performance, even though he didn't finish the year. I get the injury is the injury, but I feel like he was just so much of a difference maker on that team that he made them so much better than what they actually were. They were fool's gold without Patrick Mahomes. Like they were all name brand, but that name discontinued. That's how good Patrick Mahomes was. He was able to kind of keep them relevant when they had nothing.
What's funny is the injury. It didn't even play a factor in my mind. Like I felt like he played pretty much the entire season already. Like missed out on 2 games, and they were already out of playoff contention. I didn't even take into consideration that he did miss those last 3 games.
But I feel like because he was able to get them that close for so long, when they really didn't deserve to be there, is a testament to how great he was on that team. Jess, am I bugging? When you thought the
No,
Chiefs
I don't
this
think
year,
you're
did they
bugging.
deserve to be where they were? The whole year. Every game they played.
No, they
before
should have been.
Mahomes
They
got
should have
injured.
been better.
No, it was proven that Patrick was carrying them. But I do overall, but I will give this round to this ranking does go to Daniel. I think I agreed more with some with his placements. He was more justified in some of his rankings. But but back to Patrick Mahomes, BPG, biracial people greatness. We have to be honest. If he would have stayed healthy and they were never and like they weren't out of playoff contention, even though they could have barely made it, those playoffs could have been a lot different.
You think so?
Because he's Michael Jordan.
Man, I don't know, man.
Yes.
I think at
He
least
may
for
have
me.
not made it to the Super Bowl, but I think they would have done like the first or second 2 rounds
Look,
of the playoffs.
look. I understand the glaze.
Okay.
Look, I understand the glaze
Lewis,
from Chris
Lewis,
Collinsworth, Chris Collinsworth over here.
Wait, Lewis. Let's play the game. Right? Let's play the game real quick. Let's play the game. Let's say Kansas City make it as a 7th seed and they knock off the Chargers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically, right? Do they beat the Patriots?
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
You know, if I was in the moment, I wouldn't pick the Chiefs. I would have picked the Patriots. I would have went with the Patriots.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay. Do they beat the Steelers?
Oh, anybody beats the Steelers. Yeah, for sure.
Do they beat the Texans?
Yes.
That's also tough because
Go-
that defense is so
yes. No. Yes.
good. Hold
Because
on, Jess. Can I answer? Yo, Chris Collinsworth,
Okay.
bro. Can Mike Tirico have some mic time? Damn, son. Yeah, come on, let Mike Tirico kill it, bro. Let me be bald and
here's
great.
a guy.
So here's a guy who can't fucking answer. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'd probably lean Kansas City, but it would be close. I would lean KC though.
Do they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yes. It would have been a tight game. By the skin of their teeth, they probably would have won that
Jim,
game.
earlier this season they lost, but I would say it was maybe a bit of luck. But playoffs was different. I think I
Yeah, Lewis, you can admit it.
I lean the 51% Jacksonville personally. I'd lean there.
Do they beat the Buffalo Bills?
A contrarian.
Do they beat the Buffalo Bills?
They always beat the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Come on. That's not a question. And we saw how Buffalo was playing.
I'm not seeing this greatness from this team that you guys are seeing. Respectfully,
We
Patrick
know
Mahomes is good.
Listen,
I'm not seeing it. I
Okay.
just don't see it. I didn't see it all year.
I'm not saying you're wrong for thinking that way. But I think you have to kind of lean on their history.
But
and
here's-
the fact
but
that
he-
once they are in the playoffs, once they are in the playoffs, that's it.
And you know, we could play
I-
this hypothetical,
my
and
arg-
I
my-
like
no,
it.
no,
but
Lewis,
my thing
Lewis.
is this:
Lewis,
they didn't even make it.
Lewis,
I know.
Lewis,
I know.
let me get to my point. Let me get to my point. The reason why I brought this up, is because I feel with the year that Patrick Mahomes was having, and if he didn't get hurt, that the pace they were going on, if they were going to sneak in as a 9-8 team, because of legacy and because of how Mahomes was playing, it's not a gimme. I think they might have a chance to get some teams in the AFC.
It's not a gimme because we've
I-
seen them do it.
I also said that they
because
probably wouldn't have made it to the Super Bowl, but
I think because of how the year was going, the fact that they were even having that conversation proves how good Mahomes was. That is my argument.
I
That is
can
the crux of the argument.
I can't get behind it. And
I think
I think for me,
okay, fine.
right, as I'm watching this year unfold, they were so fucking piss poor, especially him, right? We're talking about Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about a standard, right? We're talking about an MVP. We're talking about a guy who is always, statistically speaking, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, top 5, easy, top 3, top 2, top 1. He was a disappointment this year. And I get it, the team overall wasn't there, but he himself wasn't that good to where he could have elevated this team out of whatever rut they had. He is good. This season is not indicative of him as a player in totality. He's still a top 3 quarterback in this league. This season was just not it. That's how I feel.
Jess, say your point, then I'll go.
I forgot what my point was going to be, but I was just going to reiterate what I thought before. Is that I don't think they probably would have gone to the Super Bowl because of all those reasons, but I do think it could have made it to the playoffs if they. I understand. I just feel like we all know. I think what Daniel's saying that he was still showing glimpses of Mahominess in his terrible season that you have to watch out for.
Of course. That's what
So I
elite
think they
players
could.
do.
I think if they would have made it by the skin of their teeth, they would have won. I think they would have at least gone to the divisional.
Go ahead, Dan.
I mean, a 36,000 passing season, 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 90 QBR. Pretty fucking good for a bad Patrick Mahomes.
Is it really? There's better quarterbacks who've had better. Is it really that good though? Okay, maybe under the lens of Patrick Mahomes, there's a standard for Patrick Mahomes. I think we might be all biased in that. There's a standard of Patrick Mahomes.
Lewis, read me your 17 to 14. Read me your 17 to 14.
Got you right now. Let me see. I got Jackson Dart, Bryce Young, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield. I thought they played better.
For me, they're all better than for me, Mahomes is better than all of them. That was my thing. I think Mahomes had a better year.
I don't know.
Compared to what you are putting them on, I think Mahomes had a better year than those 3. I really do.
Maybe you got Jackson Dart, but I ain't giving you the other ones. And I think it's coming down for me to, if you're like, for instance, Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys didn't make the playoffs. But his year was so good that me and Daniel both said, fuck that shit. We don't give a fuck if he didn't make the playoffs. He is top 10. He is elite, right? At least this year, right? I just didn't. I didn't feel it. And yes, Patrick Mahomes was trying. I just didn't feel it from this team. Didn't feel it from him this year. He played a step below his expectation.
I feel like for Dax and Jared, to a degree, Jared Goff's argument, they had Amon-Ra St. Brown. They had CeeDee Lamb. They had George Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
They had great talent around them as well. Who the fuck did Patrick Mahomes have? Be honest with me. Who did he have?
Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce. None of these guys are good, by the way. I'm just naming who he had. Travis Kelce. Who was the running back for fucking that week? Kareem Hunt and another guy. And then their O-line, and the O-line was their best fucking weapon.
So again, you mean to tell me, with that considered, and I'm not saying that Dak and Goff had bad years. In fact, I think they had better years than Mahomes. But I think because Mahomes was able to do so much with that little, he deserves more credit than what he had. That's also part of my argument.
All right. I'm not going to go to 9, but let's see where we can meet in the middle. Okay, let's see.
Who was 13?
Aaron Rodgers. I had Aaron Rodgers. He had a better year. Playoffs. With arguably less. And that's saying
Would-
something about the. the
I think
Patriots.
you could put Mahomes above Brock Purdy. I know you have Brock Purdy at 15.
I
I think
could
you could put him above
I
Brock
can
Purdy.
see that. Just, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Dude,
Jess,
I
okay,
just
wait.
can't.
Let's consult the woman real quick.
Patriarchal
hypothetic-
presence in the room.
If you were
Oh, matriarchal.
if you were doing a quarterback rankings list about from this year, where would you put Patrick Mahomes? What range? You don't give me an exact number, but like what range would you put him in?
On how he played this year?
Yes.
Yes. Not how he is overall, because we know he's fantastic. We know he's a top 5 quarterback when he's healthy and great. Based on this year, with the injury and how the team played, what range would you put him in?
I wouldn't give him 21, and I wouldn't give him 9.
I had him at 18, please.
I'd probably give him like.
Don't fucking.
Stop it.
Okay, all right. Hostile.
I would
Had him at
say.
18.
I would say. Like maybe like 16. He'd be right in the middle.
But 18's crazy. I
But
rest
you
my
said
case.
I was right.
I rest my case. I rest my case.
I would look 16, 15. I wouldn't. I think 9 is too high. But 21 is too low.
I didn't have him
You
at
put him at
21. I
18.
had him at 18. Where are you getting 21 from? Had him at 18,
You could have
please.
said 21.
Do I need to share my screen again? Okay, I'll share my screen for you.
No.
No,
But
no,
I'm
no,
sure
I'll
you
do it. I'll do it
someone
for
here
you.
said
I
21.
got you.
Because when I asked, well, what number did you have
Joe
him? You
Burrow
said
was-
21.
That was Lamar Jackson
was-
and also Joe
That was
Burrow.
Lamar Jackson.
Jess, you see my screen? That's
Then you
Patrick Mahomes
misspoke.
right there. 18. Bam. Right there. See that? Do you believe it? No? Okay.
I still think that's low. I think 15, 16 is fairer.
So who was closer? What's closer? 15 to 18 or
Your
15 to
forehead's
9?
very big like that. You look like you look crazy.
God. What was closer, guys? What was closer? I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, I guess, because like the stats that he had, but then you look at the eye test and you can see that he's trying his damnedest. I just don't think, like, if his damnedest was working, like his damnedest was still leading them to losses.
It was a tricky year. It was a challenging year for him. Personally,
very
his own
6-7
play wise.
Had nobody.
6-7. 6-7.
6-7.
But I also think that they were operating on their Super Bowl hangover. You know, they couldn't shake that off. It showed very well that their ego was deflated, and then they haven't been able to pump it back up at all.
Do you guys
Even
think
with
it was more
hominess.
it was more like egos or like the team overall as like talent?
I think the
It
talent
could
has
be
gone
both.
down.
Both could have had serious impact.
And the talent's there on defense, but they did not play well. Like their defense is still very talented, right? And the defense tried their best in some games, but they just didn't have it this year. Like, and it probably is because more teams are just better, so they can't steamroll these other teams. Like the year previous to this one, they were winning a lot of one-score games. We were talking about this as like, are the Chiefs done? But they're winning. You know what I mean? So it's like it's 6-7. Now they're not getting the results, but the talent's still there. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? You Patrick Mahomes.
I think a lot of things are happening. You know, they were. Remember last year, there was a lot of people that doubted them last year, and they were like 16-1 or some shit like that. So their decline as a team overall had started to show last year, but they were still able to have a chokehold on the NFL, and they were still able to make it to the Super Bowl. But the Eagles, they cracked their shit wide the fuck open, and I think
Broke their back.
you know, I think it popped their bubble that they were somehow invincible, untouchable. That does a lot to your ego, and it shows everything you swept under the rug the year before. Kelsey is older. He is not as involved. He is making more mistakes. You know, you have your own injuries. You've been getting you've been piecemealing your offense your offensive weapons, and they're not showing out. They're not showing up. And then, yeah, your star player is probably showing small signs of fatigue. That he's like, he is better. We can agree he's better than Josh Allen, but Josh Allen's energy is way up there. I feel like Josh Allen's like wild horse when he gets on the fucking field, and then I feel like Patrick Mahomes, he's much more strategic in his Mahominess, but it just didn't. You can tell the wear and tear. They didn't smile on the sidelines. They were grumpy. They weren't happy. They knew they were getting old. Andy Reid knew that it's time for a whole new fucking mix-up, a whole new mashup. The rest of the league has finally caught on. There's other people in your conference now. You have other coaches who want your shit. You got the like it's just everything came to a head for them this season, and it just showed.
There we go. So here's a guy who came in. Okay.
I am interested to see what they'll do next year. There's still no signs if Kelsey really is retiring or not.
Is Rashee Rice gonna be
He's-
a good person this year? I don't know.
A good offseason. Are we gonna get a clean Chief offseason?
Whew, that's tough. That's like telling Andy Reid not
So
to
far,
eat a
nothing
burger.
has happened.
Now, Jess, I know you know the answer to this because I don't. I personally don't care. I don't think Lewis knows. Is the wedding happening this offseason?
Look, a lot of stuff is going on with that part. Okay, so there's rumors that it's been put on hold, and I was myself kind of surprised that it was put on hold because I'm like, on hold for what? And they tried to say that it's so Travis Kelsey can decide if he's going to play or retire. However, if you're into pop news, Taylor Swift is pretty much in the middle of a fucking major like lawsuit, like with Blake Lively and Justin Baldini and this whole movie shit that's been going on for like the past 2.5 years. And there's a good chance that this summer she may be tied up in legal proceedings. Even if she herself never goes to court, she is involved and she's been pulled into this lawsuit. And she may not want to have both happening at the same time.
Yeah.
I personally think she's probably pregnant and does not want to get married pregnant.
Oh.
That's my hot take.
Hot take.
I don't think they're
Golden
putting
hot
it on
take.
hold
Hey,
so
guys,
he can decide
premarital
if he's
sex, am I
retiring.
right? Premarital sex, yeah.
I feel like it makes no sense whatsoever if he is deciding if he's retiring or playing that you need to put off on a wedding. And I think two things happen while you put off a wedding. There's too many distractions and there's something else happening and you don't want to focus on two things at once. Or the girl is pregnant and she does not want to get married 7 months pregnant. And I'm not saying she is, I don't know, but she's also been very quiet, very low key. They haven't been seen in public together in a minute. And I don't think it's because they're breaking up, or I just think she's probably carrying a kid now.
Well,
Who knows, chat?
But who knows? Who knows?
This seems like a casual Tuesday.
Yes.
But what I will
Discussion.
say is, I know he wouldn't probably play for another team, and for some reason, a lot of people think that he doesn't want to be someone's second. He doesn't want to go from first to second, or possibly third string. But I feel like he's a football player, and if he still feels the heavy passion for it, he will take whatever spot they give him. Next year, he may not be the starting tight end, or he may not play in everything, but if they can fit in him someplace, he's not going to retire. He hasn't suffered a major injury yet, right? Not in last year and this year. Like the last 2 years, he hasn't really been hurt. So he's kind of healthy. So it's like, why would he retire right now?
No point for him.
He's still got like 2 years left, I think. You know?
2 years might be a bit generous. I give him maybe this year, the next year coming up, max.
Well,
And
well,
after,
if-
just cut that shit
well,
off, bro.
if
You're
he
looking
if
trash.
he's limited, I think you can make an argument for 2 years. If he's limited, if he's like the third string tight end,
Yeah, it could be.
If he goes the Devontae Adams route, where like he just plays on the goal line,
Maybe.
you get another 2-3 years out of him. You gotta squeeze it.
Yeah, maybe.
You gotta squeeze it. Like a Redick.
Get the fucking last drop. Please score a touchdown. Get a yard, please. All right. So before we continue on to the next topic, I will run through my 32-1 quarterback ranking, and Daniel, you'll run through it for the clips.
We'll make the shorts and the clips.
We'll make the shorts of the clips, baby. Here we go. All right. So I'll run through it now. I'll start. For my end of season quarterback rankings, I have 32, the Jets starting quarterback, 31, Geno Smith, 30, Tua, 29, Cam Ward, 28, Michael Penix, 27, J.J. McCarthy, 26, Shadur Sanders, 25, Marcus Mariota / Jayden Daniels, 24, Tyler Shuck, 23, Jacoby Brissett, 22, Joe Burrow, 21, Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud at 20, 19, Daniel Jones, 18, Patrick Mahomes, 17, Jackson Dart, 16, Bryce Young, 15, Brock Purdy, 14, Baker Mayfield, 13, Aaron Rodgers, 12, Jalen Hurts, 11, Jordan Love, number 10, Caleb Williams, 9, Bo Nix, at 8, Justin Herbert, 7, Dak Prescott, 6, Trevor Lawrence, 5, Sam Darnold, 4, Jared Goff, 3, Josh Allen, 2, Drake May, and 1, the MVP of the league, Matthew Stafford. There we go.
Beautiful. We lined up like 11 times.
That might be a new record.
It might
be.
I'm not sure what. But let me run through mine. So this is my end of season quarterback rankings for 2025-2026 season. 32, wherever the Jets had. 31, Geno Smith. 30, Jacoby Brissett. 29, Michael Penix. 28, J.J. McCarthy. 27, Tua. 26, Jayden Daniels. 25, Shadur Sanders. 24, Tyler Schlow. 23, Cam Ward. 22, Joe Burrow. 21, Lamar Jackson. 20, C.J. Stroud. 19, Brock Purdy. 18, Jackson Dart. 17, Bryce Young. 16, Aaron Rodgers. 15, Daniel Jones. 14, Baker Mayfield. 13, Jordan Love. 12, Bo Nix. 11, Jalen Hurts. 10, Justin Herbert. 9, Patrick Mahomes. 8, Sam Darnold. 7, Dak Prescott. 6, Caleb Williams. 5, Jared Goff. 4, Trevor Lawrence. 3, Josh Allen. 2, Drake May. 1, Matthew Stafford. And a partridge in a pear tree. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. And Daniel, this is celebratory. In all the years we've been doing these rankings, you get a win. The matriarchal queen.
And you know what's gonna happen? Next week we're gonna hear, guys, made a mistake. Thought about it. I think Lewis.
I'm not good. I never do that.
No. Only with Sam.
I never do that. I never do that. Except with Sam Darnold, yes.
But I feel like, what Jess just said, I never do that. That would be what some NBA teams talk about or bring up when they talk about tanking. No, I never do that.
Wait, guys.
I never tank. Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm going to leave this conversation to you guys. Because I have work in the morning.
Okay. Yep. Fair.
Fair enough.
G's up. Fair.
Now,
enough.
just before you go.
Okay. Okay.
Did you have interest in watching the All-Star game?
I told you this earlier. I didn't even realize it was actually happening.
Yep.
There was zero promotion.
Yep.
Zero.
Did you watch the
I've
dunk
been
contest?
watching. No. I didn't. No one even talked about it. This is the first year I can consciously say that it was zero. I watch. You know me. I watch the sports shows Monday through Friday in the morning. They didn't have a fucking peep. Not a peep.
Did
Not a
you know what the
peep, not a
gimmick
peep,
was
not a
this
peep.
year?
What was
Because
the
every year
gimmick?
is a gimmick. It was Team World versus Team USA, and
Versus
there were
Team
like
They've
USA
been
three
talking
US.
about
strippers.
that.
It was like there was like three USA teams.
They've been talking about implementing that, but no, I think the NBA. This is probably and I thought about it. Pro Bowl, NBA All Star. Maybe time to put those things to bed.
Never. Add dollars. We will never.
I understand, but you're also not promoting it, so fuck your ad dollars. Because I didn't know. There was no talk about this All Star game at all. I follow sports accounts on X. No, nothing. They talked about everything else. There was not a hint. I guess, and I'm also see I'm a casual. So if the casuals are not seeing it, it's not being promoted. Diehard NBA fans, of course you guys knew. Of course you're on it. Of course you probably know it's but the NBA has a responsibility to also reach out to casuals. That's what the NBA All-Star is supposed to be. A collection of its most popular people, put them on television, get some notoriety going. Keep it exciting. We're about to enter the last phase of the NBA season, the second half. We're gonna go in the playoffs right around the corner, and none of that was happening. So what I will say is, the NBA, you have failed this year, and maybe it was done on purpose, not to purposely put out the All Star game.
Follow up question, Jess, before you go. So it's the last question I'll ask you.
Hmm.
Have you cared about the regular season at all this year for the NBA? Because now this is go time. We're going to March. There's no football. This is it.
It's been very quiet. I really have not had that much interest. Um, when I come home late from work, of course they have by the time I turn on the TV, it's the West Coast games on. But no, there's not that much interest.
But just real quick, because I want my ego to shine again real quick. If you come home late and you put a TV on, would you rather watch a West Coast hockey game or a West Coast basketball game?
I'd probably still put on the basketball game.
God damn. Well, I fucking
That's just
tried.
because I don't know hockey well enough yet. You know that.
I tried.
And Daniel, no, because this is unfair. When we have our writing sessions, haven't there been multiple times I'm like, Daniel, guess what's on television right now? Guess what I'm watching right now? And I'm not changing. What was on?
Hockey.
Hockey. Multiple times. So I am becoming the fan where if it's on my television, I'm keeping it. And I'm sure on another station there was an NBA game on, a West Coast game, and I did not change. I didn't go look for it. I kept it on hockey, watched the puck go by, you
Watch
know.
the
Period.
puck.
And what I will say is maybe they're finally getting more coverage because before it was only ever NBA games on. You couldn't really find the hockey games. And now I feel like I come home and on ESPN and ESPN2 there's hockey games on. And that's the type of coverage they should be getting. So, and I watched your hockey take on the Get Back, the little own hockey thing you're doing.
Whoa,
So
whoa.
I'm
It's
learning. I
it's
am becoming
it's his own show, damn it. This is Daniel's show. This motherfucker right
ex-
here, he does that shit. Let's go, Daniel. Clock it.
I feel like I am becoming more of a NHL casual fan.
We got her.
I'll take it.
We fucking
I'll
got
take
her,
it.
Daniel.
I'll take it.
Real man, real man.
Well, I feel like their network partners are finally doing enough to put them on where it's exposure. Because they do talk about it now and then on Get Up. They do talk about it now and then on First Take. At McAfee, now that the NFL season is over, he's going to show a lot of hockey. He's going to be talking about a lot of hockey. So I feel like they just need more popular people to talk about it,
Period.
and NBA, they're not as exciting as they kind of used to be. They're not even excited for their own NBA All Star game. You're supposed to. You want us to be excited for you? No.
Enough.
To the
And
matriarchal
those
presence in the
words.
room, we bid you farewell.
I don't like that term, but I get it. Thank you.
What you are
It
the
makes me sound old.
you are the we're the patriarchal presence in the room. All right, but you're the matriarchal presence. There you go. We are also old.
We are also. Listen, I'm. Hey, I just turned another year older.
Hey!
Oh my God! Happy birthday! We totally forgot.
birthday to
It's
ya.
past midnight.
Happy birthday
Happy
to ya.
birthday to ya.
Hit it, baby. There we go,
Big
baby.
2-5.
I will never sing the
I-
white
Bless
version of
you.
Happy Birthday.
I still feel the same as I did 46 minutes ago. Still feel the
Be
same.
grateful. Listen to me.
Hey,
Shut up and
another
listen
year
to
of
me
life.
before I leave.
Another year. I made it through another year of life, guys. I did it.
Don't look at it that way. It's a cheap way of looking at it. Because one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be 35. And you're gonna be like, "Fuck, I wish I was 25." Remember what I did at. So be happy at 25. You need to be like, "Oh my God, bro, I'm 25. I'm like, oh man." Even if you don't know shit and you ain't got shit and you ain't done shit, just be grateful
Hey,
that
Daniel.
you are 25.
You want to tell her how old you are? 'Cause I don't-
25.
He's 25.
You're 25? Get the fuck out of here! I thought
Yeah.
you were 25. I thought you just turned 24. My bad. I'm.
Earlier I
shit,
said
shit
I'm
on me
turning
right now.
23,
Shit on
and
me.
you was
Shit
like,
on me. I'll cover. Shit on me. I'm stupid. Ah. My bad, yo. My bad.
Tomato.
Yo, tomato.
Yeah, Lewis is the only one who's still a baby.
Yo, listen, chat. You know what I'm saying?
Lewis just turned 23.
Yeah. My breath still smell like Similac or whatever the old people
Wait,
say.
are you literally just turned 23 or was that 24?
I'm 24.
No.
Which really means you're 21, but
Yeah. Because really, what is 24 really? That really means you're 19. But then if you round down, you're basically 18. But then 18-year-olds are basically 17-year-olds, right? So then, 17, you're basically a teenager still. So you're 14 years old. But then once you're 14, you just hit puberty. So you're 13. So
I'm
then,
just
once you
saying.
hit like middle school, you are like 10 years old the whole entire time. Your brain hasn't developed. So then what's really 10 years old, really? So then you just go down a couple ages. You're like 7, right? So
all right.
once you get to 7, you're like,
just-
you're
just
really
saying.
3. So I'm 3 years old.
I'm just saying. You are 3. Lewis, you are 3 though.
Up here,
You have a heart of a 3-year-old. But yeah, no, enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that
another
you're
year of
25.
life, man.
Like, be like,
Blessings
yo,
to you.
this is the fountain of youth right now. Just
I guess.
enjoy it.
No, don't fucking do that shit. No.
My
You
body
don't
aches.
guess.
Don't do that.
You know.
Don't
right?
do
Don't
that.
Be
Be like,
fucking,
yeah,
don't do
no,
this humble
yeah.
shit with
It's
me.
okay. It's okay to feel the sit like, oh, I feel like nothing happened 40. That's okay to feel that way. You just can't. Don't minimize it. Don't minimize it.
Every time I
Revel
try
in
to
the
humble
fact.
myself, I just get absolutely shitted
You
on.
can know.
Because you don't need to be humble all the time
Fuck
about
being
dumb shit
humble.
like that. It's not a fake.
Hold on, bitch.
You are
sit
young.
Down. Hold on, bitch. Be humble. No, sit down. No, bitch. Don't be humble. No, don't be humble. No.
Yeah, you see how stupid that sounds? It's because it's okay to embrace
Yeah.
your youth.
Okay.
I'm telling
Days
you.
to celebrate.
This is just downhill from there.
Take every
I'm
day to
telling you right now.
celebrate. Some motherfuckers don't live to see the next day. Take every day you can to celebrate. Period.
Yeah, we outlived a lot of people.
Yo. Think about it, yo. A lot of people back in the fucking 1800s, they would have been dead
When
by
I was
5.
25, when I was 25, I had already some of my friends had already passed on. You know what I'm saying? So you,
My bad.
you have to be like, yo,
My bad, yo.
I'm grateful. I'm happy.
Nah,
But
word,
on that
word,
note,
deadass.
enjoy your birthday. Enjoy your NBA talk, your baseball talk, your UFC talk.
A bunch
I'll
of
leave you guys.
patriarchal
I'll let the
shit.
boys be the boys.
Well,
Yeah,
we're-
I'll let
we're
you
going-
guys.
We're going to
talk
bed
about the world.
right next to you. Don't worry.
Don't worry. We'll be in bed. Don't worry. Give us like 10-ish minutes. We're going to be right there with you. Okay?
Yeah.
Got you.
This is gonna be very quick.
All right,
Promise you.
the matriarchal presence in the room.
And
Hi
Tommy.
guys.
And Tom.
Call Miss Shelby. Call Miss Shelby. You guys didn't say hello to him in the intro,
No, we did not.
but
Oh,
we'll
oh.
say
We'll
goodbye.
outro him. Thomas,
We will say cheers, mate.
be good. Take care, brother.
Did they say happy birthday
Cheers,
to me?
mate.
He didn't say happy
He
birthday.
didn't. What a bitch.
Happy birthday, mate.
Thank you. I
One
guess
day
you're
we'll get-
Australian now. I guess you're Australian
Oh.
now.
I don't know how to do the Brit. My accents suck. When I was a kid, used to do them so well. But yeah, now I'm Australian no matter what. And then when I actually see my Australian friends, I end up sounding British.
I could do a roadman British voice. I can't do like a posh British voice, but I could do roadman. You ready for this? Hey, yo, bruv. Hey, listen here, fam. You know, them way there, cuz,
Yeah,
yo,
there you
hey, yo,
go.
more life, more blessing to your blood. Happy birthday, fam.
Happy birthday, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
There you
happy
go.
birthday
You see me,
to
Daniel. Happy birthday, fam. You know this, cuz. You know, another year, another life, brother. You know, you making it. You're big time, big money, fam. You see this blood. Hey, yo, go Arsenal, too. That's my home team. You feel me?
Thank
Yes,
you.
now I'm getting off.
Thank you.
You
Bye,
guys-
Jess.
See you all tomorrow.
Or today.
We're all
Bye.
meeting tomorrow.
Or today.
Oh God, all
We'll
right.
figure it out.
Gotta go.
Go to work. Go to work.
Go to
Go to
work.
bed. Go to work.
Bye.
We'll
Bye.
figure it out.
Bye.
All right. Well, Jess is gone. No, I'm
The women. It's boy time.
It's boy time. Oh gosh. Just mail
Oh,
time.
get the Fortnite out.
Get the Fortnite. Mom, get the pizza rolls. Mom. But I did want to touch on this topic of conversation of
Yes.
NBA teams tanking. So Adam Silver, there was, he's trying to crack down on some of these teams that are tanking. So obviously during the All-Star break he does a press conference there where he talks about teams and just the league overall, right? Coming out with new ideas, cool stuff for VR and shit. But this was really a big thing that came out on February 14th. Saturday, Adam Silver said that tanking has been worse this year than we've seen in recent memory. And he is considering every possible remedy, including taking away draft picks, to stop the type of overt behaviors he fined the Utah Jazz and Indiana Pacers for this week. So he fined the Utah Jazz $500,000, and then he also fined the Pacers $100,000. Now, if I can find specifically why he fined them immediately, that'll be fucking fantastic. But basically, it was for types of roster management moves that they made with throughout like the last week or two. So basically, he's insinuating that they are purposely not playing guys who can help them win games because they don't want to win games because they're shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. I mean, listen, we don't got to be rocket scientists to kind of understand that this is like commonplace in sports.
Yeah.
It's very look, the team won't admit it because if you admit it, you're doing something wrong. But if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's good old Bill Belichick, Tom Brady line. Okay? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And these teams, right, they are going to try to get every advantage that they can take into getting a better player, right? We've seen this in football, basketball, baseball. Is baseball the same? I don't know. Baseball might be a little different. Draft system's a bit trickier. But typically, if you're a shit team, you have better odds at the lottery, right? In every single all these sports, there is a lottery system, or it's the worst team for that year. You get the number one overall pick. Every single team in a sport will do this at some point, probably. The Giants, I've been clamoring for them to tank. I'm not in the organization, so I have no pull, no cachet, so they can't find me. Okay? But once they feel like it comes from an organizational standpoint, then they're like, all right, this is some fucking bullshit. You can't do that. Keep integrity of the league. So, like, I just want to kind of get your thoughts on how do you feel about this whole, thing. And also there is another quote. He said, if teams are manipulating their performance in order to get higher draft picks, even in the lottery, then the question becomes, are they really the worst performing teams?
I'll say this, right? I think the problem for me is that a lot of these teams, like the Utah Jazz, like the Brooklyn Nets, like the New Orleans Pelicans, right? They always seem to be in the position of bottom three, bottom five in terms of draft picks, right? In terms of lottery picks, right? And I think the problem is that we're not seeing growth from those teams, right? We're not seeing the young players being developed. I'm not saying that, the problem is the players, the problem is, the staff. Some players don't work out, that's fine. But when we're going on 5+ years of teams that still suck, it's not supposed to work like that. You have to, like, I think a great example is the Thunder, right? A progressive and steady buildup of talent to get to that next level and to get out of that top 5 in terms of draft lottery, right? The Orlando Magic, right? Another example, steadily accumulating young players to build a great franchise team, right? The Toronto Raptors this year, slowly building young players to get better. That's what you're supposed to do. That's a sign of a healthy league. When your teams are slowly growing and your top teams are growing down, right? That's a sign of a healthy league. That's what's supposed to be happening. Well, you have some teams in the NBA where you're not seeing that. You're not seeing that growth. You're not seeing that progression. Utah, Memphis, New Orleans, Brooklyn, Washington. These haven't been playoff teams in a long time, and I'm not counting the play-in. Like legitimate playoff teams, or at least in the hunt for it, at least sniffing that kind of last spot. I get New Orleans was in there last year, but still. To me, that's the big, because you don't see in the NHL, you don't see a continuous team, suck. They get better. They grow. They know they can't stand by and be the worst team in the league, right? You don't see it in MLB. MLB is a little bit different, I understand that. Money and stuff like that. But it's very rare you see a team, suck for a long time. Unless you're the Pirates or the White Sox. But teams steadily know how to grow players, and they know how to draft, and they are able to accumulate young talent, trading their best players for younger talent to eventually get better down the line. What did Utah do this trade deadline to make themselves better down the line? What did Washington do to make themselves better down the line? I get the trade for Trae Young. Is he playing? I got to trade for Anthony Davis. Is he playing? What are they doing?
The Jazz traded for Jaren Jackson Jr. Played like 3 games.
Shut him down.
Got hurt.
Shut him down for the whole year.
He tore something in his ankle, and he needs surgery, and he's cooked. So
the Brooklyn Nets had, what was it, 4 first-round picks last year? None of them hit. And I get it, last year's draft wasn't that deep, but you mean to tell me you couldn't find one talent there to build around? I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, because I don't think that, but I do think there is a problem with teams incentivizing winning and incentivizing, losing, right? I think there's a problem in that teams are okay with it. Teams are still waiting for that player, the next LeBron, the next Jordan, the next whatever coming out. And the fact of the matter is, even if they don't get it, we'll try again next year. Fuck it. Try again next year. What's going to hurt us if we suck again? Utah doesn't draw a lot of fans. They're probably very dedicated, but that's not an NBA hot market city. Brooklyn, I get it, it's New York, but it's still the second team here. And those ticket prices aren't that, those ticket prices aren't that bad. Right? They're pretty cheap. I can't speak into, New Orleans, but that arena looks pretty empty to me sometimes. So Washington looks pretty empty to me. And when Washington was good, that place was bouncing. When they had John Wall and Bradley Beal, a young Bradley Beal, and Paul Pierce. That place was bouncing. I'm not saying those fans aren't there, but clearly the NBA is not caring enough for these teams and their revenue from these teams to justify them losing for this long, right? Clearly, they're still being okay with these teams not generating revenue. Because, again, salary cap is salary cap. They meet standards. They get over the salary floor, right? But still, these teams are okay with eating it. They're okay with being the third sport in the city, being the second sport in the city, and moving on. When the Knicks were bad, the Knicks were still selling out, and that's legacy. That's whatever. But the Knicks knew they had to be better. So what'd they do? They rode out with Carmelo. They never traded Carmelo. Carmelo never sat any games. They tried with Tyson Chandler and Amari Stoudemire. They tried. They spent the money. Didn't work. That's fine. And they sucked again for another 2-3 years. And they got young players. And they traded these young players for greater players and better players and cap space. That's working to make yourself better. Utah, New Orleans, Brooklyn, Indiana. Indiana, I would exclude this year because Indiana has built a really good young core, a really good young team. I don't mind it. But Washington, what have they done to get better? Looking at them from an objective point of view, and looking at Jim from the outside looking in, as an organization, where is the future? Where is the winning coming from? They're probably going to suck next year, the year after that, and the year after that. Because they're not spending the money. Nobody wants to go play there. Nobody's watching them. And nobody is in the way it's being developed. So I think it could be a tanking problem. I think it could be a team not caring problem. I think it could be the NBA finally maybe starting to care. But I think it's a bit more broader than teams are tanking because they're bad. I think teams are tanking because they can't develop talent and they can't sell their ticket and they don't care to sell their ticket. That to me is the problem.
First off, you cooked. There's like a lot of quotes with this Adam Silver article, and he's talking about air leaving my fucking body. He's talking about how the All-Star game's 75 years old, and this league is 80 years old. We gotta look for new, fresh things to kind of take a look at to see if we could get better at what we're doing, right? And he talks about how the short-term incentive that teams have to lose games to get better draft position potentially and potentially get up into that top 3, that top 2, that number 1 pick, right? And also talking about the long-term best interests of the league, right? These teams tanking, it's not really good for the league. It's good for the individual team itself because, higher draft position means better chances at trying to get a better player. But in terms for the league, you are a fucking bottom feeder. You're awful. You're not going to be anything. You're not selling tickets. Nobody wants to watch you. And in turn, nobody wants to play there. Unless you get a number 1 overall pick who is just a phenom. And then people try to want to play with them. But even then, we see that doesn't work. Where was genuinely the last time we saw somebody go to another team because they had a young star there? I'll wait. Doesn't happen. It takes about 3 to 4 years to 5 years for stars to really get established. And I haven't seen these people clamoring to be with young talent. Maybe the last guy, LeBron, and that was with Kyrie, who was young, but he still tried to bring in veteran guys. It wasn't just him and Kyrie. He tried to bring in K-Love. He tried to bring in guys off the bench. He tried to bring D-Wade, Derrick Rose, and bring the whole fucking banana boat. He tried to bring in those guys because he can't trust those young guys. So the thing is, even if you get these young players, ain't nobody finna fucking play with you. You're not established. So these teams thinking, oh, we're gonna get some good guys in free agency because we got a young team. They don't really want to be there. And I think a prime example is Washington. Ain't nobody want to play there. You traded for them, but they know that you are going to pay them. That's what.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I was like, let me look up a team's record real quick because I want to see what the last time they were actually good. What's the team I picked?
Wizards.
Washington. So I'm going to read to you the 2027-2028 season, right? It was their last season where they had a winning record, a record above 500.
Oh, 2017, 2018?
Yeah, 2017-2018. So they were 43-39. They lost in the conference final round 1. From then on, 32-50, 25-47, 34-38, 35-47, 35-47, 15-67, 18-64, and currently 14-39. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 years since they had a winning record. And we're above 500.
Honestly, not a tanking issue.
You want to play the game? Let's look at Utah. Let's play the game again.
I don't think it's a
let's look at
taking
Utah.
issue. I think nobody wants to play there, and the organization sucks. Nobody wants to play there. They don't have talent.
Utah.
They don't have that talent. And even if they get low draft picks, still ain't working.
Utah since 2021-2020. This was the last year of Donovan Mitchell, I think, right? And even with Donovan Mitchell, right? 49-33 2021 season. 37-45, 31-51, 17-65, 18-38 this year. So that's 4 years in a row that they have been under 500.
Yeah.
And who have they drafted to make it better? Ace Bailey. What did they recruit from Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert? I don't know. Where is the payoff?
There is none.
Let's play it again one more time. Let's look at the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, gosh, this is the worst one. This is going to be bad. Whew. When was the last time they were good? Jeez. It's a long time since they were good.
The last time the Pelicans were above 500 was actually 2022-2023 season. They were 42-40. They were 49-33 last year. They lost in the conference final round 1.
Okay, Jay.
Since then, they were 21-61 and 15-41 this year. Before that, they were 42-40, 36-46, 31-41, 30-42, 33-49, and 48-34. That was a 2027. So, out of the 7 years that they have been in the past 7 years, they've been above 500 3 times, which isn't saying much. It really isn't when you think about it. I get it; they were above 500 in 2023 and 2022. But when you have been good for 3 out of 7 years, with a sizable gap, and this year you're shit,
real bad.
Where is the consistency?
There is none.
And the West this year ain't that hot. The West, Memphis 20-33, Dallas 19-35, Utah 18-38, New Orleans 15-41, Sacramento 12-44. And Sacramento as an organizational thing, they did some dumb shit this offseason. I don't blame them. The Clippers as the 10 seed 26-28, Portland 27-29, Golden State as the 8 seed 29-26, Phoenix as the 7 seed 32-23. I get it. It's cool, right? When you're bottom of the league, you're shit. Yeah. This is a race between 10th and 7th. The East is a race between, 12th and 15th. The Bucks have 23 wins. Brooklyn has 15. Indiana has 15. Washington has 15.
You know what's funny with this playing shit?
Or 14.
They still have a chance. And, I like it that teams, if you get to a certain threshold, you have a chance to make playoffs. Or, if you get hot at the right time. But at one point, I don't like that shit. No. You know what I mean? No. You shouldn't have if you're not that seed, you should not have that opportunity. You shouldn't. You're not that seed. You're not.
And you know what it is too, because it's topical? They implemented it because of tanking, right? To encourage teams, to maybe sign more players, to maybe, trade for a better player. To maybe say, you know what? Why not?
Yeah, not
Let's
tank their
go
whole
for the 7th
fucking
seed.
team at a trade deadline like the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Awful organization.
And what's funny? The Bulls. The Bulls are where are they? They're 11th. They're 2 games out of that play-in. So is it my thing is like, I think I get it if a team was on the cusp, but they're on the cusp, right? If you're the 8 or 9 seed, I get it. But if you do top 8 again, what's the difference? We're getting rid of 2 teams. So what? Why did we need to add a 9 and 10 seed? To me, that's not negating tanking. You still have majority of your league who doesn't think they're a playoff team, and they're not. Objectively, they're not, right? I mean, my problem here too, Lewis, real quick. Let's take a look at the 7 through 10 in the East. Orlando, Miami, Charlotte, and Atlanta. Charlotte's a cool story. Are they beating Detroit, Boston, New York, or Cleveland in the first round?
Hell no.
Okay. Is Atlanta beating Detroit, Boston, New York, Cleveland in the first round?
No.
Is Orlando, maybe beating Detroit, Boston, Cleveland in the first round? Possibly.
Could.
They're the 7 seed. You see how it works. The 8 seed, Miami. Miami has an 8 seed. That's scary. So we have legitimate threats, but then as you go further down the list, those threats become minimal. And I get it. It'd be cool to see Charlotte in a playoff series. It'd be cool to see Atlanta in a playoff series. I get that. But at the end of the day, are they going to be legit threats?
So there's a thing where, like, even in the NFL, you don't want to be, like, in the middle. You either want to be really bad or you want to be really good. You don't want to be picking, like, 17 or, like, 16, 15, 14. You don't want to pick there because that means you're just not bad enough to get the top 10 pick. Burrows were not good enough to be fucking picking last.
But
you're just not.
But I feel like the argument for the NFL is teams that pick 16, 15, 14, whatever, is that you're close, that you're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you were close last year. Maybe we're a piece or two away. Maybe we had a key injury here and there. In the NBA, if you're picking 13th, 14th, 15th, you may as well just throw away the pick. What's the point? And that's the problem. Those teams don't even feel like they're close. They're not matching the level of, Detroit, New York, OKC, San Antonio, Denver, whatever. Those teams feel like they're a couple pieces away, but they don't do anything to negate it. And I get why. They don't have the cap space, whatever it is. But then it even hurts your bottom feeder teams that say you're picking 8th, 9th, or 10th. You're picking in the top 10. You really want that pick?
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like, I'm looking at these NBA drafts over the last, 5 years. The 8th, 9th, and 10th pick. From, 8 to, 15, I'm like, these guys fucking still suck. None of these guys have any, obviously, right, it takes time to develop, and I'm seeing it takes these guys at least 4 years to really start hitting their stride. These teams don't got fucking time for that. They don't got fucking time. They don't.
I think maybe, and I'm not saying this is the problem, but maybe it could be a possible solution. Maybe we get rid of the one and done. Maybe we do what the NFL does. 2-3 years. Develop. Learn an NBA offense. Get stronger. Get older. Get more experience. Don't come into the league when you're 18, 19 years old and you're surrounded by men and you have the pressure of the world on you. Clearly that hasn't worked. Clearly, unless you're LeBron or Jordan. Who was the first overall pick last year?
Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag, right? Second overall pick, Alex Sarr. Where is he? What has he done?
Oh, Alex Sarr, he wasn't drafted this year. He was drafted a couple
he went second overall. Well, he went second overall.
He was third overall, not this year, but the year before that.
The year before that,
this
right?
is second or third year, one of those years.
Who's second overall pick this year?
Let's look it up. Cooper Flag draft.
I know Ace Bailey went 4. Dylan Harper went 2.
Yes, Dylan
Good
Harper.
young player.
Good young player.
But San Antonio doesn't need to play him. They have a team. They
got a
traded.
really good team.
They traded for De'Aaron Fox.
And
why?
they were bad that year too. They were bad.
And they were bad then. They built something, and I get it. They have a unicorn, but this can't be because we get the first overall pick one year. We get a unicorn. Now we feel like we can go for it. It doesn't work like that. Because not every year you're going to draft a unicorn. You're not going to draft a Wembanyama every year. You're not going to draft a LeBron. You're not going to draft a Jordan. These guys come once in a generation, literally. So if you're a team drafting first overall, you're expecting to get generational talent, more than likely it's not going to happen. So what is the backup plan? How are we going to get better? Are we going to develop? Are we going to accumulate assets? Are we going to try to, sign free agents? And I get it. Nobody wants to live in Utah. Nobody wants to go to Washington. Nobody wants to go to, Brooklyn. I get it. But what are we doing to make ourselves more attractive? Because clearly, draft picks and young players ain't it. And if you need time and these players are not ready, why are we drafting them? Is the draft pool so bad that there's nobody else who's NBA ready? Seriously?
No. It's rare to find those NBA ready. Like a lot of these guys, they need that time to cook. Like this draft, it's a bit different with this last draft. There's a good amount of players, but boy, every draft is not built like this. No. There are some years.
Look at 2020. Look at 2024, 2023, 2020, 2020. I mean, Zion's draft was loaded.
I'm not gonna lie. Ron Holland, 5th overall pick. He hadn't done shit. To Janji Saloon, 6th overall pick. Who is that?
But
Rob Dillingham.
Right?
Rob Dillingham. What has he done?
But this is the
Cody
this is
Williams,
the point, right?
Nikola Topic, Devin Carter, Dalton Connect even at 17 is an awful pick. Tristan Da Silva at 18 is an awful pick, right? Jalen Tyson at 20 is one of the best players in this draft, and you got him at 20, right? Good find, good steal.
But at 20, what are we doing in the scouting room? The fall off from 1, 2, and 3 is so massive.
And even Zachary Versace at number 1 last year.
I get it. The argument is the argument. You're not gonna hit every draft. You're not gonna. A pick is a chance. It's a gamble. Whatever. But when you have multiple years where you're drafting in the top 3, top 4, top 5, and you're still shit, what is the issue? I think it's more than tanking. I agree with that. I think to a degree it's the organizational failure to develop. I understand that. But what are we doing to get better in that regard? Are we looking in ourselves and saying, you know what, guys? We're just not good. We have to change this. I want to win. I want to win an NBA title. I want to be in the playoffs. How are we fixing this? I don't see it. I don't see it in Washington. I don't see it in Brooklyn. I don't see it in Utah. I don't see it in New Orleans. It's been relatively the same teams for God knows how many years. And they're still shit. With the occasional sprinkle of a decent young talent who will probably end up trading in a couple years. Because we can't build around him.
I don't know. NBA, man, it's what are you gonna do?
I mean, even to a degree, look at Charlotte. What the fuck is going on over there? How many young players do you need to not work out? And I get it. It's a cool story. Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball,
Miles Bridges,
that white guy, Con Knuppel.
Yo, Con Knuppel's nice.
He's nice, right? But they've developed a nice young core, but it took you what, 15 years to get there? When did you draft LaMelo Ball?
Took
When
him-
did you draft Miles Bridges?
Took him a little bit to get there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't take you this long.
Yeah.
A team should quote unquote tank for 2 to 3 years. And I'm talking like
Bottom
five.
feeder. Bottom.
Yeah, like bottom 5. That should be your tanking phase. After that 4th year, you should be looking at, maybe a 6 or 7 seed, possibly a 5th seed. And the year after that, maybe we get into the top 3. You should be good after 2 or 3 years. It shouldn't take you 8. It shouldn't take you 5.
Even with the players that they have, some of these players, man, they get traded too early. The team just and this is the thing, these players in the NBA, I've noticed, they need way more time to sit in the pot and cook than other players in other leagues, right? They just need to sit. They need to learn. They need to know how to be a good NBA player. They just don't know how to yet. And the fact that you're not getting that, you're not getting a guy who could come in and efficiently be a part of an offense or a defense at the 3rd overall pick sometimes or the 4th overall pick, that's a fucking problem. It's a big problem. And the fact that you can't develop that, you can't bring that and develop that, that's horrific. And I think more so for this tanking, it falls on the organizations mostly because they're the ones in charge of who's playing, who's coaching, who we're paying, who we're building this roster around, and ultimately the decisions whether to try and win or lose. It's organizations.
And
these owners, they don't want to fucking win. They don't have time, but they don't also want to put in the time. They don't have time, but you can't just fucking come in here and expect in a year or 2 you be fucking good. You gotta fucking take some time. You gotta cook. And you gotta be smart. OKC, for example, smart. They were fucking piss poor. They were bad. And then there were some years where, you know what, they built up some team. They started overachieving. They started playing well. But then they traded smart. They had draft picks. They had great traits to get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They hit on a lot of their draft pick. Their scouting room is really good. They traded for guys who were top 10 picks, by the way, and got them. And now they're a good, efficient part of their team, and they won a championship because of that. I get it. Not every team could be competent like that. But boy, oh boy, you want some level of something. You want something.
Yeah. You shouldn't be bottom 15. You should be at least pushing, I guess, the 8th, 7th seed in the play-in. I guess. I'll accept that. But when you're still shit, it's a problem. And I do want to say before we go, I don't want to completely, not exempt the players. I think the players also have a part of it too, and especially the young players coming in. I don't think there's a care to want to be like the savior. Cooper Flagg is different. Cooper Flagg has that mentality. You see it. He wants to be great. He wants, he puts himself out there, and he's NBA ready. I'll say that. He's NBA ready. A lot of these guys aren't. And I think the problem is that you're going from college, where you win a lot, where you're all the star player, where you're treated and media gets on you and you are, the guy. And you come to the NBA and you're going to Utah. I know you don't want to be in Utah. You want to be in Washington. But guess what, buddy? You're going to lose. So how are you going to fix that? Are you going to put in the effort? Are you going to try to galvanize the team around you? I get it. Nobody's Kobe. Nobody's Jordan. But you got to at least show me something. Some care, some passion, some fire in your locker room, in your media conferences. Some of these guys, I don't hear that from them. I don't see that from them. I don't. I think part of it is just, it's NIL. It's the fact they're getting a fat stack of money really early on, really young. And I get it, they're 19, 20. You're throwing a ton of expectations on them to be great right away. But I think the one and done, you're 18, 19 years old, you should not be responsible for saving an NBA. Not yet. You need more time in college. You need more time to work. If if Paige Beckers, right? If Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, if they didn't, develop and understand and get notarized in college, and they went to the NBA or WNBA their first, second year, are they this good? I don't know, but I don't think so. I think those extra years spent in college helped them. It made them better players. I think NFL players who spend an extra 2 to 3 years in college makes them better players. I think NHL players who get drafted at 18 but still go back to college for 2 years, who play in the juniors for 2 years, and you're not allowed to play in the NHL until you're 20. And if you are ready to play now, you're probably great. That's the standard. MLB, you're in the minors for God knows how long. You could be there for 10 years. So why is it different in the NBA that you need to be ready right now? That you need to come out of high school and be an NBA team? That to me doesn't make any sense. That you need to be 1 year in college and then you're ready to lead an NBA team. No, you're not. You're 19, bro. And I get it. NBA right now, let's do it. You start young, you save your career, you get paid now. I get it. But you're not ready.
Yeah. It's that meme where it's I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
For that big man.
Yeah, and when we're talking about some of these teams, right, they're drafting some of these guys. These guys average 6 points in college. These guys ain't ready.
But he's a defensive stud. Don't worry, guys. His shot's gonna develop. Is it? Did it? Will it?
We've seen picks falter.
How about this? How about instead of saying his shot will develop in a couple years, let's see if it does first before we draft the guy. How about that? How about, oh no, we'll teach him NBA defense. What?
How about he learn that shit before he gets
How about he learns what a 3-2 zone is first? And then we'll go from there. How about he'll play in a national title game, or at least in the Final Four, before we draft him, and say, go win a playoff game for us. Let's see how he does in a high-pressure situation before we draft him.
Overall, tanking's not good. And some of these teams, they fuck up their own shit. They're trying to get good, and then they fuck it up again because they're like, oh, I don't have time to wait, but then you try to do the process over again like an idiot. That's like me trying to pour milk into a bowl, right? And then I miss the bowl just a little bit, a little splash dips outside of the bowl, and I'm like, gotta start all over again. Pour all the milk out the bowl. The tiniest splash. I gotta do it again. You're close. You're trying to get there. You're trying to push to something. Try and push. And I get it, you're going to be bad. But at least you can say to the league, listen, our team's not there yet. But we're playing these guys. We're giving these guys minutes, meaningful minutes. We're not sitting anybody. We're not resting anybody for no reason. We're not actively trying to play more people than others. Play your guys and have them develop. And if you're going to be bad, have them develop in NBA games. Be bad for those 2-3 years. Be bad. Be real bad. You could be fucking super shit. But as long as you aren't trying to intentionally get better draft position, you're going to get better draft position. You're awful. Just naturally be awful instead of manufacturing awfulness. Because we know you're bad. Stop trying to get a fucking extra loss. That's just not going to help. And we've seen teams with the highest overall odds to get the lottery. Shit don't work. You get 5th. You get 6th. You know how many times I've seen the Pistons with the 5th pick, 6th pick, 7th pick, 8th pick, the Bulls, 10th pick, 9th pick, 11th pick, 12th pick, every single fucking year. They have never gotten the first overall pick. Still trying. And even then with the first overall pick, you're not guaranteed shit. So just try to win. Try. Because if you're going to naturally suck, just naturally suck. Play your young guys. See who you got on your roster. Just play these guys. Play some veterans too. Split time. I don't give a fuck. If you're gonna be bad, just be bad. Don't give me this whole bullshit. Oh, we draft position and we have to play. Fuck that. You're not guaranteed shit in life. You're not guaranteed nothing. I don't get it. Just be naturally bad. Like a lot of NFL teams, they're just naturally bad. And then the last 2 games of the season, they're like, you know what? Let's stink it up more. And then they just stink it up. But they were going to stink it up. They were. So I don't know, Jim. That's just me. That's just, how I feel about it. Daniel has frozen on my screen. So I think, unless Daniel comes back, I think we're all set on this conversation. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. See if Daniel comes back. I don't know if he's going to come back. But thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys for tuning into the stream. We're going to have some shorts. We're going to have some clips coming out this week. Shout out to Daniel. Happy birthday to Daniel. It's his birthday. I saw his picture move. There we go. That's a decent sign. That connection is somewhat there. And, this has been a great stream. Really long stream. Haven't streamed in a week.
Listen, we were it held out so good, the Wi-Fi. We were almost there. We were almost there.
It's okay.
It did what it did.
It did pretty much. It did a lot.
Here. I know what you just said to pass through this, but we made it.
We made it, and this has been a long stream. We're gonna be back. We took a week off because of the Super Bowl, because of Bad Bunny Bowl. Also, shout out Bad Bunny, giving us a lot of subscribers on our channel. We've just passed 150 subscribers on our channel. I want to say shout out to everybody who subscribed. Shout out to
thank you guys.
The people who are here. And watch the videos, please. More engagement. Engagement farming. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to be in the comment section. I'm going to be arguing with people. I'm going to be talking with people. We're going to be having all these discourse, right? We're going to be in streams, right? We're going to have these middle of the week streams. We're going to have the UFC on Saturdays. Be here for those streams. Be here for that content. And also on Fridays, we have Daniel's hockey content as well. So be here for this content. Thank you guys so much for being here. And Daniel, any final thoughts? Any closing thoughts?
That's right. Thank you guys for subscribers. It's really cool. You guys for listening, watching, subscribe to our socials at the Get Back Sports on TikTok and Instagram. Check us out everywhere. Check out all our content. It's cool. It's awesome. We'll be back. Hopefully soon with more streams, more content. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good week. It's going to be fun. And I am a year older. Whatever that means.
You're a year older, brother.
Whatever that means to me and you.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, everyone. And see you guys in a couple days, probably for Tuesday. See you. Take care.
Peace.